Hello and welcome to another episode of the Gaming Perspective Podcast, the best multi-platform podcast on YouTube, Podbean, and etc. So we had a little bit of a break for E3 as we had a lot of us. Some of us were either covering and writing E3. Sam was on the floor at E3, and Eric was relaxing and enjoying the shows, I would hope. So Eric is the only intelligent man of the podcast.
That's true.
It is very true. So it's good to be back. It's been a while. Shout out to all the people that have been tweeting me going, "Where's the next episode, Nicholas?" And I'm like, it's here. It's coming. But here it is now. I'm sorry for the delay. Just as a little announcement thing going forward, the schedule, I will talk about that after we do introductions, what the schedule is going to look like for stuff for this podcast. But first, I'm going to introduce my panel. So, of course, I'm Nicholas Downey. I am preview and review editor for the Inner Circle Games Network. On my left is news editor for the Inner Circle Game Network, Samuel Tolbert.
Hi. I'm Samuel. I'm the news editor, though I think for E3 and the week after, Nick and I have kind of swapped jobs because Nick was in charge of all the news.
Just a little bit.
I've been in charge of all the previews. It's kind of weird. Titles are interesting things. Anyways, I'm back. I'm finally recovered. It was a great time, but it's good to be here to talk games with y'all.
Of course. And also on my left, I don't know why I give directions in a Skype call, but also on my left is Jared, the affiliate director at the Inner Circle Games Network.
How's it going, everybody? It's always fun to sit with you guys and chat games and stuff like that. And I'm excited to get talking about E3 again. You know, there's always lots of interesting things that happen. And now that Sam's here, we can fire some questions at him and, you know, maybe get some interesting info out of him. But other than that, yeah, let's get talking.
All right. And of course, I can never forget Mr. Breathtaking himself, Mr. Eric Jackson from the Basement Radio Arcade podcast.
You're breathtaking.
We're all breathtaking.
I am not on the staff at Tick Network, but I am a admirer of the Tick Network.
It's become so funny with this podcast because it's like, is this it's like someone actually DM'd me the other day. They're like, is this an Inner Circle podcast technically? I'm like, no. Because we have Eric, so that it's clearly stated that this is not all of it. It's great. It's great to have all of us back together. It was a hilarious past few days of getting us all together to get here. I've been working crazy hours. Eric's been working crazy hours. Jared is working crazy Jared hours. And Sam's just like, I'm writing previews. So it's great to get together with you guys again, especially since I don't think many of us have talked since E3. Really, this is my first time talking with Sam on voice since E3. Yeah, since before E3. I think I talked with Eric a little bit.
We talked during.
Party, briefly. And Jared, I don't know where he's been. He's Canadian, so he just wanders the earth.
Man, we got a big backcountry. I just start wandering and just keep going.
I feel that.
Yeah.
So, as we talk about every week and in every episode of the podcast, we are going to talk about what we've been playing. So, to kick us off, I'm going to go to Eric.
Yeah. I am finally out of the land of Sekiro. Shadows Die Twice. I achieved the platinum, and yeah, I'm back in the realm of other games after 2 months. And yeah, it was a slow burn, but it was great. Like I said, I have a love-hate relationship with that game. Mostly love it, but there are definitely some things that were like, come on, Sekiro, you're killing me. Other than that, now that I'm done with that, I started kind of dabbling around. I think I shared with you guys earlier. I'm very much like in gaming ADD mode because there's like so much that I want to play. So I just kind of took a moment with Bloodstained, since that just came out this week. A brief moment, but man, that game's gorgeous. And I think it's going to be a modern classic, if I have to say. Yeah, I think Iga is back. You can tell there's a lot of love poured into it just from the brief moment that I spent with it. So it's one of those situations where delays seem to benefit. wasn't like Mighty Number 9 where the delays just were hiding and sweeping things under the rug. Other than that, I also started on my friend Pedro, and that's just pretty insane. And it's amazing that it's a Switch game for right now, or the Switch and PC, I should say. I imagine it's probably going to come to other platforms too, but I would definitely recommend if you have an option to play that game, definitely check it out.
I've got it for the Switch actually, and I played a little bit because I'm reviewing another game right now, but I've had time to dabble a tiny bit. Oh man, it's fun.
It is, right?
It's really fun. It's like I've been saying, it's like Banana Man Matrix gun shooting kind of, just fun. It's just pure fun.
And it's Devolver doing their thing, man. Like,
you
never know what you're gonna get from them. Like, they deliver something and it has the DNA of something that they made before, but then it's something completely different. And they're weird, wild, and I love them as a developer.
Yeah, they're pretty sweet.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at right now.
I gotta give Eric the credit because we talked after Sekiro launched, and I had already pulverized my balls into the ground with my controller and given up. And Eric's like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to push through this one, man. This one seems ridiculous. And now he's sitting here 2 months later with the platinum on Bloodborne and Sekiro.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there going, yeah, okay. We get
it. No, it's not even that. Sam will tell you, he and I chatted about this. I was like, Sam, I don't know if this was a good idea.
Hey, Eric.
It took a toll. Like, it definitely took a toll doing both of those at the same time.
It did.
Like, it
really
broke
did.
something.
Yeah. I said I had to step away from software for a while and games like this and just be like in La La Land.
Man, I remember when The Witcher 3 came out, my friend, he 100% that game. It took him about 7 months to 100% that game. And at the end of it, he had grown a beard. He stopped shaving because he wanted to do like a before and after photo, and they were terrifying. But yeah, like having some games, the level of dedication required to get the 100%, it's truly an accomplishment. And I commend you on that. For me, for platinuming something like Sekiro, that would be, for me, that'd be like going back and platinuming BioShock again.
Yes, I haven't done that. I might do that one day.
The no Vita chambers on the no Vita chambers on hard is very frustrating. But I digress. I was gonna do that on next gen console. I put in, did about an hour of it. I was like, I'm not doing this again.
But yeah, you're right. You guys are right. I mean, I did tell you at one point, I was almost done. I was like, I don't know if I can do this, and it was like the Owl Father, and he was owning me. And then it just one of those things where I went to bed. And I know, like, Sam and Jared can attest to this. Sometimes you just have to go to bed on something.
Oh, yeah.
And then you come back. And sometimes going to bed works. And sometimes you come right back and left off where you were getting owned. Yeah. You're like, all right, I'll go to bed again.
Yeah.
And sometimes it happens. And then you're like, I don't know how I just did it, but okay, I did it. You know, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't sexy. But it's done. And I'm moving on. Yeah. It's that kind of thing. So.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Ripped off.
Yep. I'm looking at my steelbook of Sekiro being like, well, at least the steelbook and the collector's statue is pretty.
But Sam will tell you, because I said this to Sam too. I said that the statue and everything means so much more when you finish the game.
It really does. It
look
really
at it
does.
Like, I earned that thing. And I'm not saying you guys earned it because you put your money on it. Don't believe me. Don't. But it has a different meaning. You're like, damn. Like,
dude, and then on top of the Owl Father, like landing the final blow on that final boss, the true final boss.
God, man.
The Sword Saint. It's like, oh, why is he called the Sword Saint? Like, oh, that's why.
Bitches throwing. Where did he get that from? You know, it's just like
that is one of the most intense fights, if not the most intense fight I've ever had in a video game. Period.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder what Elden Ring is going to be like.
Oh God, we're not starting this conversation.
Why not? I'm so excited
because I don't need to hear you guys frickin' beat your meat over another frickin' Soulsborne game that's going to be a copy and paste in the last 3 Soulsborne.
Well, at least it's not Baldur's Gate 3.
Shut up, Nick. Just shut up.
At least it's not Baldur's Gate 3. Excuse me, Jared.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
No, you heard
Larian
me.
Studios are gods, so shush your mouth. And I fall onto the same statue or fall into the same thing that you guys always tell me. Can't talk crap about it till you beat it. So go do an 80-hour playthrough of Baldur's Gate 2 and then come talk smack.
Maybe I will.
And what will happen if we all finish it?
Yeah,
what would happen if we all platinum?
I'll tell you what.
Or 1,000 achievement.
Tell you what. I will put this on record right now.
Uh-oh.
If you guys collectively beat Baldur's Gate 2 when it comes to console, you guys don't have to platinum it because the achievements on Steam are stupid. So I imagine the console achievements are going to be stupid. If all you guys collectively beat Baldur's Gate 2, I will platinum Bloodborne.
Done.
I'm with it.
Accepted.
Right.
Accepted. Oh, when does it come to console again?
I don't know who's going to do those chalice dungeons with you,
September
but
24th. September 24th.
September 24th. Is it like in a bundle? I'm trying to find it on Amazon right now.
Yeah, it's you can get the Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 in a bundle for $49, I think.
All right.
Challenge accepted, bud. All right, let's do
I will
it.
hunt. Okay, I can't find it right now, but I will hunt it down and I will do it. Like, yeah, accepted.
Good, because that means by the time you guys beat it, I should be on Christmas vacation, which will give me a good amount of time. And I will stream it. I will stream me playing Bloodborne.
Oh, he just threw that one in too. Okay.
What if I challenge
me
you
in too? All right.
to polar bear dip too?
Okay, we're Canadian. We do that for fun.
Yeah, like that's not
Come
suffering. That's Eric and I suffering. That's not suffering for you.
on.
If I want to make Eric suffer, I'd tell him to go to South Florida.
Well, I'm in South Florida. You mean North Florida?
Yeah, North.
Yeah.
Sorry. I guess
That's
you're
where all
right.
the crazy stuff happens.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah.
So, Jared, what have you been playing?
Honestly, nothing too substantial recently. I guess I've started my second playthrough of A Plague's Tale. I'm going to go get the 100% on that one, and of course have my fun with photo mode since that's finally out for that game. Other than that, I'm currently working on a review for a game that I can't really talk about, but soon enough I will be able to. Other than that, yeah, that's all I really got.
I love when people have embargoed reviews. They're like, I have this game that I'm playing. I can't say if it's good or bad. I can't tell you what the game is. It's like I know what you're reviewing, and the anticipation's still killing me. So we'll roll it right over to Sam. Sam, have you had a chance to play anything, or have you still been in writing machine mode?
I've been in writing machine mode, dude, and I'm going to be in writing machine mode for the next couple of days. I'm planning to play A Plague Tale, though. When I'm done with this, I'm going to be playing A Plague Tale. I really want to knock that one out, see what it's like. I want to get back into Sekiro, get the 100%, because I have it on Xbox, so get all the achievements, equivalent of the trophy and all that. And then Eric and I are actually planning a run-through of all the Gears games leading up to Gears 5.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Wait, is Gears 2-player co-op or 4-player?
Ooh, that's a good question. You know,
I think it's only 2, isn't it?
let me think.
The first two are 2. The third one actually does support 4.
Right. That's okay. That's kind of what I thought.
And then the fourth one is back to 2, and now 5 is actually going to be 3-player.
Okay, can we have some consistency? Damn it!
No.
Well, hit me up for Gears 3. I've never beaten Gears 3, so hit me up for Gears 3.
We'll hit you up for that one.
Absolutely.
Jared, you have an open invite since it's up to 4. Just
Alrighty, I'm down. I got all the
That is kind of interesting that it goes back and forth, like why they.
If I remember correctly, it's mainly because the third one has the evolving Lambent, and so the fights are like better tailored to more players. If I remember correctly, that's why. And then Gears 4, if I remember correctly, they said it was a challenge. They didn't want to do that because it felt a little difficult having too many characters in one place, considering the whole game takes place over the course of a single day. I assumed Gears 5 was going to be 2-player campaign co-op, but they're saying it's going to be 3, which I'm like, okay.
Interesting.
We'll see how that works.
Interesting. Me, myself, and I have been playing pretty much not too much. I managed to play a little bit of a cute dungeon crawler called River Bond. Took about 6 hours to beat. Fun little game. If you got kids, it's great to play with your kids. If you want to give them a Diablo-style experience with really cutesy graphics. If you're an achievement nut like me, it's an easy 1,000. I haven't really had time to game. Work's been crazy. Everything's been crazy. I did start my friend Pedro on PC last night. And that game it's so beautiful.
Right?
It's literally like the whole premise of that game is like you could tell that some developer snorted a massive line of cocaine and was like, guys, what if we did the Matrix with bananas?
Let's take the John Woo, the Matrix, and bananas.
It's like, does anyone here, like, I'm not dating myself because I'm one of the younger guys here. Everyone remember the Monty Python skit of what will you do if a man attacks you with a banana? That's literally all I can think of when I'm playing this game. It's great. It's a great indie title. If you have a Switch, buy it on the Switch. But if you have a PC, buy it on PC because them unlocked frames, man. But no, really great game. Shout out to Devolver Digital. They did a great job showing it off at E3 as well. They had a guy walking around in a giant banana suit, apparently. Sam can either confirm or deny this.
I didn't see him, but it's entirely possible. So,
check out my friend Pedro. Really awesome game. I'll have a full review up on the site later this week. Not too late, though. So that's what I've been playing. So we're going to jump right into E3 stuff. So I kind of dabbled in what we were going to do with E3 coverage because a lot of podcasts have kind of flogged it to death. But everyone's kind of way of talking about E3 is, well, who won E3? Who's the real winner of E3? Why does this suck? So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about
advertisers.
Yes. Who won? Advertisers. But how we're going to do this is we're going to talk a little bit about the high points of each conference, a little bit about the low points. Not necessarily who won or who lost, but more of how each conference kind of held up on its own merit. And kind of what we were expecting in terms of from that specific developer or publisher and everything else. And whether they met our personal expectations or kind of what we were looking for from them. Because just because the developer has a good show doesn't mean it spoke to you individually. Or it may have missed the mark. So we're going to dive into that. First things up is EA. And honestly, we could not talk about EA. But I kind of want to go around the table and see where everyone's at with Jedi Fallen Order. So, that was the showcase of EA. That was the only reason they bothered showing up, honestly. So, how do we kick this off? We'll start with Sam. Thoughts on Jedi Fallen Order? Are you sold? Are you ready? Are you hesitant? Where are you at?
I'm sold. It looks like the Star Wars game that I've always wanted. When Brad and I were watching the stream that morning over breakfast and coffee, we were looking at it's like, good God, a game that finally understands how to do the lightsaber combat and the force powers and make them look awesome. It looks great. It looks like everything I would. And hearing that there's actually like these Metroidvania elements that haven't really been talked about a lot, but they're keeping hidden, that sounds super cool.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Really?
See, this is my problem here with this. My general complaint with this whole E3 as a whole is that these games weren't showing off in a great way. It wasn't that the games were bad. They weren't showing off great. Because when I watched through that their first gameplay they showed off, I told Jared I felt like it was like an Uncharted Anthem mushed together. And that's why it looked like to me, like it was very like scenic. It kind of reminded me of the Anthem E3 demo with like the open spaces and everything else. I was kind of like, eh? And then they started doing interviews with developers post-conference. And they're like, oh, it's got Metrovania aspects. It's got this. It's got that. I'm like, why didn't you show that? Because when they showed it off, it looked generic. I was kind of like, this kind of looks like The Force Awakens with Star Wars Unleashed. What is it? I never
Force
played
Unleashed.
Force
Unleashed. Yeah, but keep in mind though, we don't get these type of games very often. So it's been a while since we've had like the next best to it, which would be The Force Unleashed 2. And I don't remember when that came out, but that's been quite a few years, right?
Yeah, it's
so
been a long while.
Yeah, it definitely does look a little generic, and I would love to see what else they are showing, like different styles of what the game will end up playing like. But I also would like to discover that for myself, because if it's really cool, if it's really well done, I think that'll be a great surprise to have, and that'll be a memorable moment to have in the game as well, because you're better off discovering things that you'll like on your own rather than hearing about it and then discovering it. You'll have a higher attachment to it, and it'll be a better memory for you because it's actually a more enjoyable experience.
Yeah, unlike Spider-Man.
Normally, I would agree with you. 99% of the games I agree with you, but since this is EA, I don't think they can let the little hidden stuff go. They need to show off what makes this game unique.
Well,
because
here's the thing. If I can jump in.
Yeah, of course.
If you remember when they first talked, remember the first E3 when Vince got like completely sandbagged in the auditorium. He's like, "Oh yeah, we're working on a Star Wars game," and I was like, I wasn't prepared for that.
Ooh.
Okay, so then when we saw the trailer, and they showed there was like CGI, the first thing people said is, "What does the game look like when it's playing?" So I actually think if they follow a trajectory here, they're in a good position because people were tuned in to see the trailer, right? The CGI trailer. They were like, that kid is cool. I know him from, Shameless, or I know him from Gotham. That's a good choice. Oh, that's cool. XYZ. Then the next thing was like, I want to see the gameplay. And then they gave the gameplay. They showed you what kind of style it is. And again, it seemed like people were, for the most part, tuned into that, right? So I'm going to agree with Jared. It's like, you can talk about, or I don't know how much you want to show of the Metroidvania style parts of it, maybe a little bit of it, but you don't want to overdo that part. Because I think you want to have like a good balance, because like I said, I threw out Spider-Man because Spider-Man showed us everything at E3. Like they didn't leave it was still a good game, but they didn't think about if you would have had that moment where the Sinister Six was revealed in the game.
Right.
They kind of took that from us.
Exactly. And the fact that they still tried to keep the final boss secret, but it's like, we have the power of deduction. We can work backwards and realize what's going on here.
Exactly. At that point, we were like, I know who he's talking to at this point. Especially when you start the game, you're like, hey, there's Otto Octavius. I know where this is going.
Yeah. Plus, I think EA has also started. I was just gonna say, like, I'm pretty sure EA also has learned from Anthem and their full transparency approach for that game. That didn't really pan out very well, because that game ended up being a really, really, really bad. And the transparency in the end kind of didn't help, because it's kind of like hyping it consistently, saying, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. It's gonna be like this. It's gonna be awesome." And then they just didn't deliver. And that's a worse look.
Yeah, and I would caution, don't overstep. Don't show too much. Answer a few more questions, but don't show too much. Like, I know a question that came up in the combat was like, it kind of looks like it might be too easy. Is that a thing? Especially after they kind of mentioned the combat is sort of akin to like Dark Souls. And I kind of saw a little bit of that in the kind of way that he moved and the way he fought and this and that, but it definitely had that DNA of Force Unleashed. But like Sam and Jared said, we haven't had this kind of game in a long time. So a little bit of generic might be in order. Just a straight up fighter, a straight up adventure, hack and slash, without it being Souls-like. Because everything has to be Souls-like now. We'll romp through it. Hey, and if you have like more story DLC to support it, that's great, and all this and that, But a little bit of what Nick's saying too. Like maybe you have another panel and you do talk about some of the other things you're going to do in the game, but not too much. Like don't overplay.
Yeah. Like it like at Gamescom or something like that, it wouldn't hurt them to show off a little more. It wouldn't hurt them to do another 5 to 6 gameplay minute stream, and that's it. And another thing, they've talked about a lot of details that they've explicitly said, hey, we're not going to show this off because we want to let people experience this. But here's one thing, guys: you can change your lightsaber color.
Oh!
I don't think a lot of people know that.
For $2.99.
Oh no! Don't throw that out there. No!
I really need that big Windu purple.
The possibility is so high now.
You wait. EA will send out a survey, and they'll be like, what's your favorite lightsaber color? People are gonna be like, for example, oh, purple's my favorite one. Oh, purple one's $7.99. The other one's a $3.99.
No microtransactions, dude. Sorry, but you're wrong on this
I'll
one.
believe it when I see it.
All right.
I believe in Respawn, but you know what? I used to believe in BioWare.
That is a chilling statement that I totally understand.
Yeah.
And honestly, the thing is because what kills me with EA is Anthem looked amazing when they showed it off, how they showed it off. And I believed in the passion from those developers that they believed in their game. And look where we ended up.
And yeah, when I fell off is when they were like Destiny. Like I was like, eh.
See, that was me when they were like the combat similar to Dark Souls. I was like, oh my god, can you believe there's a hack and slash game that isn't Dark Souls? Like I wanted them to come out and be like, it's more like Devil May Cry, and I'd be like, oh, okay, you got my attention. I like the action.
Yeah, it's somewhere in between both of those. And to me, there's a difference in saying the combat is akin to Souls, Dark Souls, as opposed to saying it's Souls-like.
Yeah,
because the minute someone says it's Souls-like, it's like it means the ramped up difficulty,
rolling,
the checkpoint.
It's
because talking about the combat part is one thing, but trying to be a Souls game is a whole different thing.
It's like one of those terms. It's like I don't think you know what that word really means.
Yeah, and I would imagine because it's Star Wars, they would have been dumb to try to make it a Souls-like game because there's a select amount of people who want that, and everybody wants to play Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars has broad mass appeal in a way that most IPs don't and never will. Yeah. So they got to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I think the combat looked really cool. I loved what I did love, and just so it doesn't sound like I'm being a Debbie Downer on this game, I loved how they showed off various combat situations, and they approached each situation differently to show you the variety. I thought that was really well done, because sometimes when you're showing off a game, it kind of can feel samey in the way they're showing off the combat and everything else. But them approaching each enemy with a different technique to showcase this is a wide breadth of stuff you can do. That's cool. And like I'm gonna be in there for this game day one. I will, simply because it's Respawn. But if they burn me on it, I'm never buying a game again from EA. Period. End of story. This is the end of the line. This is make or break for EA at this point. And I think, I don't want to speak for everyone in gaming community space, but I think if they somehow manage to screw this up, I think EA is going to be in a lot of trouble. So,
probably.
So, we'll see. I'm hopeful. Love the hell out of the actor. Can't remember his name. I think he'll do awesome. I'd love to see him get even more popularity because I think he's a really great actor. Loved him in Shameless. Cool to see him in a video game. All right, so we're going to trundle right along because that was the only thing worth noting. I was going to
say, I imagine people tuned in to see that, and then the numbers just dropped off. The numbers were, I know I did. I could
probably go on and spend about 3 or 4 minutes to say I really love the quality of life improvements they're doing for Apex Legends Season 2, but no one else really has an interest in that outside of me and probably Sam. But the hilarious part of it is that I saw a post on Reddit and they were like, the first hour of EA's conference was Respawn looking successful and the rest of EA looking sad. And it's so true because people tuned in, like a good majority of people, like everyone tuned in for Star Wars. Some people stayed tuned in for Apex. I don't think anyone watched past that.
I don't even know what showed after
that.
Which is funny because they posted
some Battlefield 5 stuff.
Battlefield 5 got some maps, some post-launch support stuff. The new FIFA game modes, Street Ball's coming back. That's kind of cool for FIFA guys. They're doing a lot of quality of life improvements for that game. That's cool for soccer guys. Madden looks the same as it did last year. I'm still not going to buy it.
Same here.
And they need to bring NFL Street back. Period. End of story.
And NBA Street and NFL Street.
Because then we can get those trash NBA playground games in the garbage where they belong. And they showed off some Sims 4 DLC and stuff, which is super cool for my wife. So, cool stuff there. Not Gears. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Xbox conference is next. So we're going to talk about high points and low points. So I want everyone's favorite part from the Xbox conference. And I swear to God, if anyone says it was the spec sheet, I'm going to slap them.
Okay, wait a minute. Before we do this, hold on. I'm gonna invoke something. Can none of us pick Keanu Reeves? Because here's the thing: we will all agree that was a breathtaking, yes, moment that will reign among the best moments of E3 for all time. Like it's not up for debate. We all agree that was one of the most incredible things. That was one of the most hyped things I've ever seen, guys. Okay, it really was.
I've got multiple questions here. A. How did CD Projekt Red sneak Keanu Reeves out of his busy filming schedule to get him to do the second most amount of voice lines in the game? Question B. How did they sneak him into E3 without anyone being like, hey, it's Keanu Reeves?
He was literally smuggled in, and the number of people that knew he was actually in the conference was a handful of people at CD Projekt Red and then Phil Spencer. Those are the only people who actually knew he was in. Everybody at Xbox doing the rehearsals was given a, quote, blank name, and then someone else was doing a stand-in, and they were told it was going to be someone else who's coming at the last minute to replace the role.
It's funny because a friend of mine works within one of Xbox's studios, and when Keanu Reeves came out, I texted him. I was like, how could you not tell me about this? And he texted me back almost immediately. It was like, I didn't even know. So, yeah, that was an awesome moment. The love level for Keanu Reeves on social media is awesome.
It really surprised him.
That man is so wonderful. He's so wholesome.
I really implore people to go read about some of his back history, because he's got a really sad back history that I don't think a lot of people are aware of. I'm not going to get into it on the podcast, but give it a read. And if you're one of those people that's like, I don't get the big deal, Keanu Reeves, read that, watch John Wick, you'll get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's kind of having like that. And I don't, maybe I'm going to date myself, but he's sort of having like that John Travolta resurgent.
Yes,
like when he went through in the '90s.
Yeah,
you know, and it's like, like there's people are sort of like enamored with him right now, and I think the John Wick thing is definitely a big part of that, because those movies rock.
Oh yeah, but also he's the one.
He's just a cool dude.
He is the one. He
is the one. He is the one.
Like, it's great to see someone who's like really enamored with the fact he has a fan base.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Like that interview he did post E3 where he's like, I didn't think people would get that excited. I'm like, really?
Yeah, that was another thing. Phil Spencer was talking with him like an hour before he went out, saying, hey, I'm going to give you fair warning. This isn't like anything you've done before. Like, these people are going to go nuts. You might have to calm them down a bit. And he was like, yeah, okay, all right. And then supposedly he got back after, and he was like, whoa, yeah, they went nuts.
Yeah, so
yeah, that's why I said to you guys, watch that movie I told you guys about.
I will.
Yeah.
So, top moment of Xbox conference for yourselves. Avoiding Keanu Reeves. So we'll start with Sam, because Sam was actually there, and I think he'll have a different moment because of actually being there provides people with a different feeling than necessarily when
I'm still torn between two. I'm requesting to go last.
This guy. All right. Eric.
Yes.
Your high point for the Xbox.
Keanu Reeves.
We said no. I get it, man. I get it.
Damn it, man. We just talked about this.
No. Sarah Bond was my highlight.
Oh my god.
Okay.
I was like,
what? All right.
I was like, woo. Hiding her first party.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I'm like, I was like, where are they hiding her? Anyway.
Oh my goodness.
Moving on. Let's see. What? Can I just? I'll say this. I didn't go in with any like major high expectation. Even with Phil saying what he said, I was kind of like, you guys always keep these things in perspective. It's Phil's job to generate hype, right? That is the job of anyone who works in any kind of company, whether it's Apple, Samsung, whatever the case may be. They're going to do whatever they can to get you to pay attention. Boom, right? Don't run away with it. So I kind of had like no major high expectation. Even with that, I didn't love or hate the show. I didn't come out of it like, oh my God, that was just the biggest piece of trash ever. I just didn't I felt like the pacing was just really odd. And I was definitely, I know you asked for my highlight, and I'm going to get there, but so with that, honestly, for me, I like the fact a feel good moment for me was that Double Fine is now a part of Microsoft Studios.
That's good.
Because of the struggle that those guys have been through, and I'm pretty sure on quite often basis, they probably almost had their lights turned off.
They've been through the ringer. If you look at their history with crowdfunding, and like I know they had some success with like a Broken Age, didn't that do like really well on crowdfunding? But then some of the other stuff like really didn't, and games got split into parts. And that space-based game they made literally was unfinished because they're like, guys, we have to eat. We're out of money, and so. Definitely good to see, and I mean this in the best possible way, but a weirdo like Tim Schafer as a part of Microsoft, because he's a weirdo.
I always like his energy. I just love his energy. Even when he was on stage, cracking jokes, I've always rooted for Tim Schafer in the crew. And they've made some of my most favorite games. You guys know I'm like a Psychonauts nut. Mm-hmm. So I'm just So I like to see what they're going to be able to do, not having to worry about, hey, are we going to have to lay people off, or are we not going to be able to get this project off the ground?
Right.
See what maybe they had in the locker that they couldn't do because of resources.
Yeah, I know he said, for example, that he would love to do, Jack Black would love to do Brutal Legend 2, but they just haven't had a publisher.
Right.
So something like that could happen. Now.
If that ever happened, I would lose my marbles.
Brutal Legend is so good.
It's such a weird mix of gameplay mechanics mixed with my favorite music growing up. Can I also say that was really great? Did you guys see that post interview with Tim Schafer?
Yes.
Yes, I did. Where they were like, well, Microsoft came in and was like, we're going to give you a bunch of money. And I was like, okay. That was the most honest acquisition we've seen. Like, Ninja Theory did like a 12-minute video talking about how they could find a new creative direction and everything. And that was really beautiful. And that touched a lot of people. But Tim Schafer being like, yeah, they gave me a ton of money. It's awesome. That was like the most Tim Schafer.
It was. It really was.
Because, and to Eric's point, is it really shows how much Microsoft has changed. Like, yeah, there was some things with the conference that kind of made me go, ugh, okay. But to see them pick up studios like Obsidian, to pick up studios like Double Fine, it really gives me hope, because they're not just picking up big name studios so they can get big name games. They're giving money to creatives that have trouble getting funding.
Yeah. And on top of that, like, do you mind if I interject with something, Nick? Matt Booty talked about in an interview with, I think, VentureBeat, and Dean Takahashi, I believe, is the one who conducted the interview. And he explained, look, I'm not after more corporate suits. He said, I'm surrounded by more suits, lawyers, and businessmen at Microsoft than I'll ever know what to deal with. I want creative people. I want the Tim Schafers and, the Ronnie Tuckers of the world at Xbox now. And I was like, that is really cool to see, honestly.
They have the most imaginative and creative minds out in the gaming world. Why would you not want them as a part of your studios, right?
Exactly, which is why I'm still screaming from the rooftops, buy IO Interactive and buy Asobo. But anyways.
Asobo would be fantastic.
The only reason I want someone to buy IO Interactive is because I'm wondering when the Hitman well's going to dry up and people will stop caring, and I'm absolutely terrified as a fan.
Let them make
That's
the
fair.
next Splinter Cell.
And I don't really care. I don't really care who buys them. If THQ Nordic has to step in to buy them, I really don't care who buys them. I just don't ever. I will physically cry tears if IO Interactive ever shuts its doors. And it's great, the Double Fine. That's a really good highlight that I didn't even think of, Eric. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was just me trying to find something that it's inherently for them, because most of their show is something that's going to be everywhere.
Yeah.
But now that is going to be something that they're going to work on developing for Microsoft, which will produce games for Xbox, Microsoft PC, whatever the case may be, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, because I know we talked about the Keanu moment, but that's for everybody if you really think about it, because that's a cyberpunk thing. That's not. Yeah. So I think, and then other than that, I don't know. That would be my big moment. That would have been the biggest surprise, I should say. The thing that kind of stood out to me the most, like, wow, holy crap, I didn't even think that was a thing.
Yeah, I don't think any of us called Double Fine. Honestly.
Yeah, there was a Reset Era thread that popped up like 2 minutes afterwards, and they were like, "Who didn't figure this one out?"
I do have a double-edged sword thing.
Okay.
The Halo Infinite portion. It was great to actually see a Halo. And then I was like, oh, because we have not been to a Halo in a while, right?
Yeah.
So that was great. But then we'll get to the other parts when we talk about some of the things that maybe were sore, like some sore thumb stuff. But it was great to see Chief again. There was a great nostalgia moment around that. But it was an odd feeling. It was a mixed feeling. And I kind of touched on some of that with Sam privately. We talked about it briefly. I think I talked to you too, Nick, about it a little bit.
Yeah.
So But yeah, it was you if you're a fan of Halo, which I am, regardless of how like Halo 5 went or the case may be, there's just something about it. When you hear that music, when you see Chief, you do have a nostalgic, giddy feeling. You can't do anything about that. But it also is again sort of like that. Are you guys going to give back what I love about this?
Yeah. We're gonna touch on that. That's actually a point I'm gonna bring up down the line. But Jared, your high point for the episode.
Oh man. My high point, that's kind of funny because my high point is actually what you guys were just talking about, Halo Infinite. That was my high point, just because, like all of us, or I'm sure basically most gamers out there in general, whether you're a PlayStation fan or not, there's some fashion or some form you've played Halo at some point. It's just out there where everybody's played Halo, and there's always that special little place where Halo sits in the gamer's heart. But for me, I was really interested to see what they would show for Halo Infinite. And of course, it was a cinematic trailer for the most part, but it also seemed like there were sections where it looked like it could transition to gameplay from cinematic. And I thought that was a good thing to show, because if they do the whole seamless, hopefully, I doubt there won't be any no loading aspects to it, but it would be nice to see good transitions from cinematic to gameplay sort of thing. But what interested me the most was their art direction. Now, if we kind of look back at their previous older games, they're very bright, colorful. Of course, they're much older, so they have a more kind of arcadey feel. They're shinier, more almost cartoonish, so to speak. This one, from after watching the trailer a couple times, it feels a little bit darker, has a bit of a darker tone to it, and I'm very curious as to where that direction will lead for it. The art style in general for Halo Infinite seems like it's not so flamboyant, but it seems a little bit more gritty, a little bit more down to earth, and a little bit more not realistic, but just it's hard to put into words exactly what they're trying to aim for. But if you watch it, I'm sure you kind of know what I'm talking about. But it has me excited, because if they do it right, and if it's a little bit more hardcore than what it used to be, but it still falls in line as to what Halo fans love, but it's more serious and a little bit more hardcore, I'm all for it. I'm excited, and that's kind of the feeling I'm getting off this trailer. I don't want to get my hopes up too much just yet, but I'm excited.
That's kind of where I'm at, Jared.
Yeah, I can understand that. So, Sam, you wanted to go last, so I guess I've got to do mine next.
I can go now, actually. I've decided at this point.
Okay. Go for it.
So, to be incredibly boring, it was Halo. Yeah, it was Halo Infinite. Eric is absolutely correct. If you grew up on those games the way I did, or, you played the heck out of them like he did and all that sort of stuff, but just like Jared was saying, when you hear that classic music, it plucks your heartstrings. Yeah. And you can't do anything about it. Hearing those drum beats again, hearing those piano notes, I was like, oh, okay, you're going to make me feel, huh? And then seeing the approach, but it wasn't just that. It was seeing the approach they took. This wasn't a bombastic, have the Chief blast away a bunch of brutes, or, epic crash landing like the Halo 4 trailer. And I love the Halo 4 trailer. That was exciting. It was, hey, one of the casualties of war. This is a Marine stranded who's probably never going to see his family again. And then seeing that little bit of hope, seeing the Chief accompanied with those notes and him wiping the window, and then trying to revive him, And the whole please don't die, please don't die, please don't die. I felt like that was the fans and 343 talking at the same time. Like, please, come on our side. Like, this looks good. Don't give us false hope. And then 343, it's like, okay, let's please not screw this up. Please not screw this up. Let's please not screw this up. And, when I heard that classic Halo 1 sound of the shields coming back, and they went all the way back to that one, saw the detailed HUD and, the Marines screaming, yes, we're going home. Like, a tear slipped out of my eyes, because I was like, for a single second there, I was like, okay, guys, all right, I'm hyped. Like, I am hyped again for Halo.
Yeah.
Please keep that feeling going for me.
Did you notice that the whole trailer is a bit of a homage to the waking up scene of the first game, Master Chief waking up?
Oh yeah, I mean,
same scenario and everything.
Of
so you kind
course.
of get that feeling. It was well done, just well done.
Yeah, so that was the most excited moment for me. Is I thought they showed enough for the trailer, showing the in-engine footage like that. They showed in-engine footage last year as well. So I wasn't one of the ones expecting Halo gameplay. Honestly, I thought that looked good. Obviously, running at 60 FPS, lots of post-processing and stuff like that. It looked good. And seeing the broken Halo ring, probably Halo Zeta or Halo 07, I believe, is probably what that one's going to be. Maybe they're going to bring the Flood back. Hopefully they incorporate the Banished from Halo Wars 2. I don't know. It's too early to call on that, but I am definitely interested. And I can't wait to see more.
Right on. All right. So, because I'm the frickin' weird one in this podcast, in my taste, the actually most exciting thing for me, and I can't wait for someone to clip this part of the podcast and post on Twitter to roast me, State of Decay 2 expansion.
All right.
What?
All right.
Hey, you know what? That's understandable.
Like, people that don't know me, I love State of Decay 2. It's one of my favorite Xbox One games. And them actually going out, and I was talking to Sam with this pre-E3, and he's like, is there any like updates for a game that would really get you excited? I was like, really want a good big update for State of Decay 2. Because like the updates had kind of been underwhelming up till this point. They added in like a horde mode, and it was kind of like, okay, whatever. But they added in 2 dedicated story campaigns in a post-launch update, and I'm like, yes! Was so excited for that. And I don't know, people can make fun of me for that, but I really like State of Decay 2. That's just where I'm at. I don't have any
Nothing wrong with that, man.
And that's just where I'm at. That's one of my favorite games that Xbox made this generation. I will say though that once again, this isn't an Xbox specific thing, but seeing everyone go, "Wow, Outer Worlds looks really good," made me feel really good.
Well, it sort of is an Xbox thing though, because that game is coming to Game Pass, which I was talking with Eric about earlier. That's just awesome. That really sunk in today with me about how cool that's going to be. But also, it's sort of a teaser of, hey, this is the last multi-platform game they're doing. From here on out, it'll be Xbox stuff only. So this is a teaser of what is to come for them.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. No one cared about Obsidian before they got bought anyways. I'm not saying that ironically either. It's hilarious because when Xbox bought Obsidian, the amount of people that I saw go, "Oh, well, no one cares about Obsidian. They never made a good game anyway."
Oh, it was a massive amount of people. And
I'm like, do you guys even realize that they're responsible for like Fallout New Vegas, The Stick of Truth, KOTOR 2,
No, they weren't.
And Obsidian is literally the developer that if you own an IP, you give it to them and you go, make us something beautiful. Like Bethesda doesn't even get to claim they've ever made the best Fallout game. Obsidian made the best Fallout game.
Which is crazy.
And Outer Worlds looks like the Fallout game I wanted instead of Fallout 76. But that'll be a different conversation in a few minutes. But no, it's really cool to see all these people go, wow, Outer Worlds looks really cool. It looks really unique. I'm like, yes, this is what I've been saying about Obsidian forever. And like, I guarantee you the game's going to be a little janky. I'm going to call that right now. It's going to be a little janky. But that's storytelling, branching dialogue in 2019. That's a thing of beauty.
Good.
But you know what? Hey, I mean, jank can happen if a story is good. I mean, again, not to dunk on Bethesda, but people put up with Fallout and it is jankiness because they like the world.
I don't know what you're talking about, Eric. There is no Fallout. And if you're listening to this show for the first time, yes, I am a Bethesda fanboy, and I will defend Fallout to the end of time. Not really. I'm super critical.
Todd Howard.
Yeah, I'm not to that point yet. He's more like demigod Howard at this point. But so we're gonna get to the low points.
I have a debate in that too. We'll have to go over that.
Me and Eric are going to get into an argument.
It's about to go down.
But first, we're going to talk about low points. I have a couple of low points from the Microsoft one, but the thing that broke my heart with Microsoft's conference, and I know no one else is going to pull this one out, was watching Ninja Theory come out and look completely disheartened that everyone already knew what they were going to show off. That killed me.
Yeah, I'll give you
They
that
came
one.
out and they're like, here's the trailer.
Yeah.
Because they were going to kick off the show with something no one had seen before, and then it got leaked.
I'll add to that, Nick. I mean, when have you seen someone come on stage and kind of go, this is something we've been working on for a while? That is a complete answer to what people have been saying online on social media.
Yep.
Oh yeah, no, they came out saying, no, guys, this really is us doing this. Which I appreciate on the one hand because it helped them get ahead of the nonsense people were spewing. But on the other hand, you're right, Nick, in that it would have been better to have it not be spoiled. Now, I am glad for them that the people who got to play it, I was not one of them, seem to all be enjoying it. Everyone who actually got to play the game says, no, the combat is fantastic. It really
those
does play.
lineups massive?
Yeah, I think they were. I was hearing that I'm
Lineups
not sure if
are just like endless, apparently, from seeing pictures and people talking about it on Twitter.
Yeah, the lines for that stayed busy.
The thing is it really breaks my heart when leaks ruin a reveal for a developer, because these guys have been working off and on, as confirmed by Zhuge on Twitter. This game has been production since about 2014. And then got backburnered, and they thought they'd never get to finish it. And due to the buyout, they were allowed to finish it. This has been a passion project for Ninja Theory for quite a while. And despite what people say, developers can have passion projects in multiplayer games. I don't understand where people get the thing where passion projects can't be multiplayer games. That the only meaningful passion projects are single player games. I don't understand that. But I also want to say too that I understand where people are coming from. And me and Eric talked about this to an extent too. As I understand, people are disappointed that Ninja Theory is not doing another single player game similar to Hellblade or doing something in that vein. I understand the disappointment in that. I really do, because Hellblade was an amazing experience. It's one of my favorite games that I've played this generation. But the end of the day is we've roasted Microsoft endlessly for not giving developers the creative freedom they want. And that was what led Bungie to leave Microsoft originally, is they wanted to do something other than Halo, and Microsoft wanted them to do Halo. And now Microsoft is buying studios and being like, here's the financial support you need. Now do what you want to do. And now, because Ninja Theory is making a multiplayer game, everyone's blaming Microsoft for having an influence in that direction, or yada, yada, yada. And it annoys me.
Yeah. Can I jump in on that real quick?
Of course.
Because I know, you guys know I'm not the biggest multiplayer person, right? So, of course, my first reaction was, ugh. But it never came across my mind where I was blaming Microsoft for what, Ninja Theory was doing. If people stop for a minute and think about it, there was no way that Microsoft you would think how far along this game is. If you stop and thought about it, you go, yeah, I don't think they would have had much influence over what they were doing.
Yeah.
This is something that was already there. They're just going to take it the rest of the way, right? And I think we did have this talk in the DM. It's about, letting, people kind of do what they want to do. And, of course, my initial reaction was, no, this is kind of what I like from them. But if you stop and think too, it's one thing if they came out and said, we are no longer doing single player, guys. We are now a multiplayer house. Then you can have a meltdown.
Yeah, that would be
Right?
understandable.
Right. So, there were things that had to be put into perspective. And I'm with you 100%, Nick, on the trail leak. Things leak all the time. We get trailers, like official trailers of things that leak. And I'm throwing up air quotes that you guys can't see because I do think at times developers do that. That bleeding edge was someone on a cell phone. That was a dick move.
Yeah, that one, especially because, and so I talked with someone who I can tell you guys later who it was, who would know about this kind of thing, and he even confirmed to me that it was literally just an internal tester, or not an internal tester, but like an external tester. Excuse me, not someone at Microsoft, but someone like who they do go out through PR firms to stuff and give people material. And it's like, hey, what do you think of this? An early feedback type. Right. It was literally just someone looking for a drop of clout. And it's like 2 days before the show, you're going to do this. If an internal video is leaked like 5 months before a show, it's like, okay, that's just in the middle of development. That happens. Right. 2 days, you're going out of your way to make things miserable for a developer. Knock it off.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to risk my 3-cent demonetization with this. Honestly, fuck that guy. Yeah. Honestly, and I saw Benji, Clobriel, all the guys on Twitter that I wouldn't call them insiders, so to speak, but they're very good at keeping a tab on the rumor mill, so to speak. I know they don't like the term insider, but guys like that said this is a dick move and they'd never do this. Zed Huge even came out and said this should never have happened. This isn't what you should do if you come across this type of information, or if you're being privy to footage like this, you need to be respectful of the developers and not, I don't know, there seems to be like there's leakers that have a moral code, and then there's leakers that are just assholes.
Who is being helped by this?
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
The question to ask yourself. Who was helped by this?
Yeah, exactly. And like you look back in the day when like Shinobi, for example, leaked that. What was it? Halo? Was it Halo? Maybe it was Halo. I can't remember. Shinobi leaked something big, but it was just a release date or something. And he got in a little bit of trouble about it, but it was just a release date. He's never leaked a trailer. He's never, like, a lot of these, like, insider guys are pretty good about respecting the developers while also keeping fans kind of interested. It's a fine balance. And I just think this guy was an absolute dickhead.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll move along now because that was sad for me. Ninja Theories, they always talk from a place of passion, and seeing them come out and kind of look deadpan that they were showing off something that people had already seen sucked.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is like, and I tweeted that. I know you guys saw it. I saw the game, and and I said it looks like Ninja Theory. It's their talent, their style. The character models look really cool. The game, what we saw in the trailer looked really cool, and I was kind of like, okay, you know what? It's not what I'm looking for from them, like initially, but I'm down to let them do their thing. They're a talented developer. Why wouldn't I want to see them try to spread their wings a bit? And try something new and bring something new to the table. Not everything has to be, for me, and that kind of goes across the board for other people too.
Yeah. No,
and I'm not saying it won't be. I mean, I could end up playing the game, and it could be that multiplayer game that I click with.
Yeah. And the thing is like I'm pretty sure I tweeted this. Yeah, I did tweet this. Is that people love to spout off about how creative freedom is important about developers, but it only matters if they're making the games that 98% of the community wants them to make.
Right.
Because if Naughty Dog, for example, who is a fantastic single player studio and does fantastic multiplayer as well. If they came out and went, we're doing a multiplayer service type game, could you imagine the crying and whining and complaining that would entail?
But you're not making the games that I want.
And that's the thing. It's not all games are for everyone. And you just kind of have to accept that. Like, there's part of me that sits there and goes, I really want Bethesda to come back and really make a great Fallout game. Are they going to do that, though? I really don't know right now. But It is what it is, and I'll buy the games I like and ignore the ones I don't. So, Jared, a low point for the Microsoft conference for you.
Oh, honestly, it was the Xbox Scarlet reveal. That was a pretty much of a low point for me. The only reason why, though, is because it was the perfect opportunity to take advantage of, Sony not being there and just be like, hey, yeah, we got an Xbox X console. Here's, roughly what the design is going to look like for it. Here's maybe a potential price point. Yeah, we're aiming for holiday 2020, so they gave that out and, a little bit of specs, but they talked about what the console could do, but they also didn't give hard specs. So I was a little disappointed on that as well. Now we might hear a little bit more on Xbox Scarlet down the road later this year, maybe at EXO or at Gamescom, who knows? But that for me was a bit of a kind of underwhelming going, well,
You're not gonna,
it's kind of cool, but
You're not going to get a spec, like an actual spec breakdown till next E3. Because
or
the thing
prices. I'm sorry, that's not realistic.
Yeah, no, because the thing is like, Albert Pinello actually took to Reset Era when people were talking PS5 and Scarlet and everything else, and came in and said, because there's been this massive battle on forums, oh, well, this developer said this is more powerful, or this insider said this is more powerful. Albert Pinello went on record saying that most consoles don't have finalized builds up to 2 to 3 months before they launch, and they're tweaking them till launch. Wow. So with Microsoft confirming a holiday 2020, they won't have an absolute price point and anything until 2020, for the simple reason is we all know it's pretty much confirmed at this point that everyone's using Navi, but Navi is super expensive still right now, but it will be cheaper down the line. So if they were to release the price now, it would be different than what it is now. And I won't go much more into it because as I've talked with Sam, Eric, and Jared before, my knowledge of specs is very limited, so I don't want to mislead people. But to my understanding is that if they were to announce the price now, it'd be substantially more expensive than it will be when they announce it later, if that makes sense. But I agree with you because I was disappointed in the Scarlet reveal for the simple reasons I felt they were just reading a spec sheet. And it kind of felt like the Scorpio reveal all over again. And I was one of the people that was very meh with the Scorpio reveal. I'm not a big proprietor of hardware.
Now, wait a minute. In our prediction series, you agreed with me that was going to be the best way to do it.
I said the best way to do it would be to, we agreed that showing it off with Halo is the way to show it off. But when I said show it off, I meant show gameplay, not that trailer. And I know it's in-engine footage and yada, 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 but impress me. And I know that they're going to show off it next year. They'll be like, here's 3 or 4 games running on Scarlet. I get that, whatever. Just not looking forward to the next year of speculations.
See, that's where I was going to jump in because I don't mean to cut you off, but I know Sam probably literally heard my eyes roll
Eric,
when that came up.
I was in Canada and I sat there. I was like, I heard a rumble. I'm like, oh, Eric's rolling his eyes right now.
They had just come down from the PS5 spec sheet that was released through Wired. His eyes had finally settled down again.
Yeah, because here's my thing. Like that was a disappointment for me too, because to me, honestly, it felt like low-hanging fruit. It felt like the sitcom catchphrase, like we're going to do this because we know it's going to get a reaction from the audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
My opinion on it was, you still have not given me, I'm going to get selfish, I'm going to be the me guy, I'm going to be the consumer guy. I got the X without you really giving me that compelling first-party reason to do so, but I said, oh, you know what? We did the GameStop hustle and the whole nine. All right, cool. I'm going to get it for the power and do whatever. I feel like we're in the territory of you need to show the definitive reason as to why I need to go out and buy this next console. So to me, this thing happens next E3. Yes, we're waiting until next E3, right? after you show
You know
something
it.
at that E3 to set up and say, we have another console coming.
Yeah, I agree.
You're
Like,
doing that now. To me, that's like, no, don't even try me. And you didn't even change it. You made almost the same exact not Scarlet, but Scorpio presentation.
the thing is that where Microsoft's at right now, they need to announce Scarlet as an official thing to kill rumors down. I get that. And the teams behind it, that was a cool edited video. Kudos to the editor that threw that video together. It was really well put together.
You just said you weren't a fan of it.
I'm not a fan.
Same exact. Well, how much did he have to change? He went back into the assets and dropped some new things, and it was almost the same exact trailer.
Well, regardless of what, I'm not a fan of talking hardware this soon. I don't think it's necessary. I don't show me hardware if you're not going to show me a game on it. And I don't mean just Halo.
The reason I say it's low-hanging fruit, and again, I mean, is because you're doing that. You're talking directly to the fanboy wars, in my opinion.
See, the thing is my biggest problem with Sony and Xbox, not Nintendo, because Nintendo doesn't seem to do this crap, is they use buzzwords to get their fan base hyped.
Mm-hmm.
And the Scarlet reveal was nothing but a chain of buzzwords thrown together, like the Scorpio reveal, like Cerny coming with the PS5 information.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the Scarlet reveal didn't show off any more than what we got for the PS5 with the Cerny interview. It's SSD, the faster load times. This is the focus of next generation. 4K, 60 FPS, standard, with wicked fast load times from SSDs. That's the next generation focus. Both Sony and Microsoft.
They also throw out the AK thing, though, which, again, is the fanboy war, because one group of fanboys is laughing at another group of fanboys about that, but then it was okay when this set got the same exact thing.
I'm going to throw this out here right now. The 8K thing is dumb. It's for media support down the line. This is future-proofing for when Netflix, YouTube, and everything else go 8K, when 8K gains popularity 5 years from now.
Yeah.
People that are running around going, Scarlet and PS5 are going to do 8K, 120 FPS out of the box. I'm like, do you know how expensive that would be?
PCs can't do that.
$3,000 console.
Well, no, this is my problem. This is my problem. I am someone who is very limited in my knowledge of PC. But I know well enough that there is no freaking way you could deliver a console with ray tracing, 8K, unlocked frame rates for under $1,000. You can't even build a PC for that. So there is no way either of these companies are doing anything other than feeding their over-emotional fan bases on social media. That's what they're doing. Because honestly, I have not heard a single consumer give a flying crap outside of Twitter or social media about next generation consoles. They're like,
nope.
I'm pretty excited for this game coming out. No one's thinking about next gen yet. Next year, people will start thinking about next gen.
And a lot of them are like, I'm excited about this game coming out that's going to play on my base console.
Yeah. Exactly. Like I don't know. I'm just
so I'm with you guys on that. That was kind of like, I was like, really, we're doing this, and it's just, I get it. You gotta do. I don't know. I guess I get it. I get it, and I don't get it.
I get it, but I'm with you, Hurt. I get it, but I don't like it.
Right.
So yeah,
my head hit the desk. It was like thunk.
I was DMing with Jared, and I was like, first thing I said to Jared, I'm like, are they making Phil Spencer read the PS5 spec list? Because this feels like the same spec.
I just replied, yep, basically.
I don't.
Because it's really all it is,
and it's fine. If you guys are still trying,
it's fine.
I would have been fine. For me, a Scarlet reveal would have been cool if they just went, "This is the box. It's coming holiday 2020." And through the next events at Gamescom, XO, and next E3, we're going to show you why you want to own one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. That's all there is to it.
Here's your new catchphrase to run with, guys.
Yeah.
Eats monsters for breakfast.
Ugh! Oh, my God.
Stop it, dude. Stop it.
Eric's head hit the desk, and I self-high-fived.
I picked my head up again, and it went thunk again. So,
Sam, what was your low point for E3? I'm kind of curious. or for Xboxes specifically?
My low point was the bizarre decision not to show Gears 5 campaign demo.
Yes.
Especially because through things I can say and things I can't. I know the game is fine. There's nothing wrong with it, guys. But it will forever. They just don't want to show it. And so that is forever going to go down as one of the weirdest decisions I've ever seen at an E3. It literally feels like there was a 5-minute demo before the Escape trailer with that song, but after Rod came out, it feels like there was a 5-minute demo that was pulled from that, and I cannot figure it out for the life of me. I can't. I just can't.
You know what, Sam? You know how, I know you guys know this. What is it always said about Microsoft? They only focus on multiplayer. They only think about multiplayer. How do you put, and they didn't do anything to help that.
No.
And if Sam can, he can't go too deep into that, but saying the game is fine, show it. You don't even have to show a lot. Just show, hey, okay, good, we're good. We got both sides covered, peanut butter and chocolate. Let's go.
Exactly. Like, I understand. Like, I know. So when I talk to Rod, I can say this. I know he really doesn't want some of the stuff they've got cooked up to leak. Like, he really doesn't. Okay, I respect that. But give us one thing at least. Mm-hmm. They showed off snippets of the campaign. You remember a minute or two in 2018 at the reveal trailer, and it looked great. Like, the little snippets they showed looked fantastic. Just pick one of those snippets, pick one of those time zones, so to speak, and show like a 5-minute demo. Show people how it plays, that, hey, you don't have to be behind cover anymore. You can pick up these cool heavy maces that send things flying. You can play as Jack, actually, if you so choose to. You can use his abilities. Like, there's 3-player co-op. There's a skiff you use to move around the levels. The levels are now 20 times the size of old Gears levels. Like, guys, that's insanely cool. Please show it.
And look, to even compound onto this fact, when Rod Ferguson came on stage and basically said, we played it safe with Gears 4 because we wanted to deliver you guys a fan service style game, I was cool with that. Everyone kind of assumed they played it safe with Gears 4. They admitted to playing it safe with Gears 4. And then going on to say that we're really excited to show you the innovations and all the stuff that we've added to the game and all this new stuff we're doing, and then show a CGI trailer. It killed me. It literally killed me. You don't sit there and tell people, we're doing amazing things with this game. Check out the CGI trailer. Like, it's the same thing we were talking about with EA, with Star Wars. You've got to show enough to give people faith in the product, but not give too much away. And I think in this instance, they played it far too safe and didn't want to show anything. And I don't know if it's because they know it's going to Game Pass, so they could just keep it under wraps and people will play it and then be shocked. I don't know if that's the game plan they're going for, but they need to show off more. And like, we're going to have a couple of inside Xboxes, obviously before Gears launches. And I'd be really surprised if they don't do at least one inside Xbox that's all about Gears. But E3, the whole world's watching.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It would be a great opportunity to show people, hey, we're trying to do amazing things with this franchise. Join us. And I just think they missed the mark. And I agree with you, Sam. It was an odd choice. And I'm excited to hear that the game is good. And a lot of people I heard that got hands-on with it said it felt mechanically good. It felt like the original games, but changed up a bunch of stuff. It's great. I love the Seasons Pad, like their method of changing up what they did in terms of microtransactions and everything else. Great change of pace from them. I'm excited to see more, but yeah, that was kind of a head scratcher. Eric, you get the final one here.
Let's see. Yeah, for me, I have to again. Jared had one that I keyed in on, and Sam had the other. I don't really have. Really,
damn it, guys! Come on.
I don't know. I mean, because we talked about the highlights of the show, right? Which are fine. But my ultimate feeling overall after the show, like I said, I didn't have any major high expectation. I just kind of felt like none of it to me. Maybe being in the room like Sam was is a different vibe, of course. But I was kind of like, none of this to me really felt like it needed to be an E3 thing. But I'm not going to hold their feet to the fire as far as saying, well, Sony wasn't there, so it was their time, because they're kind of in the middle of that whole console shift.
Yeah,
so it's sort of like
it bears considering for sure.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, but yeah, at the same time, it's sort of like, well, yeah, there's competitors in there, so let's really go for it and kind of tease some things and have some fun with it and loosen up. And it's kind of like they didn't really go for that. They kind of played it safe. And I'm kind of, for all intents and purposes, kind of tired of Microsoft playing it safe.
Yep.
So yeah, so that's pretty much overall the conference. It was a conference. They didn't spare any money on the spectacle of it. I can see that.
That's one thing we can definitely say that they've learned, like Sony, how to put on a theatrical show. Like they've definitely picked that up. Yeah,
the spectacle was there, but the energy wasn't. And again, I'm already in for Ori. Like, it was great seeing some more of it, but I don't need to see any more of it. And the delay is disappointing, but it's not world crushing, because I know once I get it, it's going to be fantastic, right?
Yeah, I didn't really have a problem with that, because it's like, on the one hand, don't get me wrong, Eric, like that's definitely further out than I wanted. But at the same time, it's like, to be fair, if that game wasn't going to be out by the end of August, I'm actually okay with it missing this year. I don't want it anywhere in the fall.
No.
So like February, that's perfectly fine. A February release date is perfectly fine. My God, it looks good.
Yeah, and that's what I said. Like I was great seeing it because I'm a fan, but I'm already in that game. The first game sold me on the new one.
Right, exactly.
I already know what to expect from that. So yeah. So again, look, I get it. They got Game Pass stuff they need to sell and push. Again, I do kind of think that they're kind of preaching to the choir when it comes to that. I do kind of think they put some confusion out there for people. Like, they didn't really explain the whole promotion, and they kind of left like their fan base to explain it to people. Like, okay, so if I do this for the $1, I get this. Because we even had that talk in our DM. Like, okay, if I update this, what happens with this? So it was sort of like, and then when you realize, you're like, oh, that's a good value. I'm doing that. It's like really lean into it, like really get it out there. Go beyond E3, push that thing, promote it. And Elite 2, cool. And I think people kind of said the same thing. Was like, I just don't want it to fall apart in my hands.
Yeah, I got my hands on with that at E3. They made it perfectly blunt and clear that they were listening to people about their complaints for the first one. The grips are way better. The weight has actually been redistributed, and it comes with that case charger, so you can actually just charge it by putting it in the case, which is pretty cool. So,
yeah. I think overall it was a good show. I hate being the guy that, like, I don't want to sound like a corporate puppet here, but I love Game Pass Ultimate because I game on PC, I game on Xbox.
That was a brilliant move.
The fact that my Xbox Live and my Game Pass and my PC Game Pass is all in one bundle is fantastic, because for those that don't know, there's actually a different list of games on PC Game Pass. So I have different games in my PC Game Pass than I do on my Xbox Game Pass, which is really cool. Like, I'm going to sit down and play The Messenger later because it's in PC Game Pass.
I'm jealous.
So like, it's cool. It's great value for me because I play predominantly Xbox and PC, and then PlayStation 4 for exclusives and maybe a Switch down the line. Who knows? But it's great value for me as a customer, because Game Pass has become that thing where I'm trying to keep up with buying all these big AAA games, but I'm missing on smaller titles that I want to play, but inevitably they end up in Game Pass, like Vampires in Game Pass. I'm going to enjoy that. I didn't get a chance to spend $60 on it, but it's a game that I'm going to get to play down the line, and it's great. And I hate talking about Game Pass because it's hard to not sound like you're shilling for it.
It's like, on the one hand, I kind of sound like a shill. On the other hand, this is like, it is a ludicrously good value. So
on one hand, I sound like a shill. On the other hand, my friend lost his job 4 months ago and has been struggling with unemployment. And I managed to get him a 3-month Game Pass card so he can keep playing a bunch of games so he doesn't have to think about what's going on.
Right.
So instead of buying him one game to try again through a rough time, he has a library of games to choose from. I like that. And people that are financially tight, you want to play a wide variety of games, but you can't buy them, Game Pass. It's just options. I like it. We're going to move along because this will drag out if we keep going at this rate. So we're going to hop over to Bethesda. I can safely say that pretty much, actually, I won't speak for everyone. I'm going to go first, and I'm going to skip the obvious one. My big takeaway from Bethesda's E3 was Deathloop.
Yes, sir.
Arcane,
I figured Eric would be all about that.
Yeah. Bethesda Softworks, let's go.
Arcane, a co-op focused game with immersive storytelling where another player can change your experience or make the game more difficult for you. Sold.
Yep.
You mean I can play a game where I could sabotage Eric while he's playing the game? Perfect. I really like the premise of it. It's so weird and zany. That's what I love about Arcane is they're like, hey, we're doing a co-op game. You're like, oh, okay. And it's like, but you can screw your partner over. Okay. And then they're like, oh, but it's got immersive storytelling and all of our classic style gameplay. I'm like, okay. And it's like, and there's going to be a heavy focus on shooting and everything else. So I'm like, you guys helped with Wolfenstein. Any chance Machine Games going to throw some people over there to help you guys with that? Because that'd be pretty dope. I'm just all in on that. The only other highlight, which I'll leave for someone else, is a certain adorable little developer that I'll let someone else gush over. So, Eric, what is your highlight from the Bethesda E3 conference?
Much like Sarah Bond, yes, she was an adorable highlight. Sam just got the energy, man, with that picture. I was like, look at this guy. He's living the dream.
Well, I sit there and go, this man got to be in the same day.
Moments later, after we're gushing.
And got to be in a room with Keanu Reeves. I'm like, I literally want to punch this man.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, I was on top of the world on Sunday. I got
Sunday was, the Bethesda conference for me, you guys know, I don't do too many of Bethesda proper games, but I'm all into the Bethesda Softworks world, you know. And man, that second part of that show was just, I was like, I want that. When they show Ghostwire Tokyo, I don't know what it is yet, but it looks like something that's going to be right up my alley.
That was the Tango Gameworks answer to Death Stranding.
Yes,
that was.
Yes.
Absolutely. It was like Kojima 2 can play this game.
Yeah, except for some reason, I believe that Tango Gameworks will actually be able to piece together something that
Let's not do this, man. Let's not do it.
Okay, we won't do that. That's Tango Gameworks is so great. I'm so glad that Bethesda's letting them, because me and Sam talked about this, and we were banking on something Evil Within related. But it's cool to see Bethesda kind of be like, hey. She did art direction and some creative director work during Evil Within and Evil Within 2. And now they're like, hey. And I'm like, and I am Bayonetta, sorry. That's a really important one because that's a stylish as hell game.
She looks like Bayonetta.
Yeah. And now they're like, here's someone who we have nurtured and we're now giving her the spotlight to shine.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was such a natural and great moment. I'm not giving credit to Bethesda for that. I'll give Tango Games the credit for that. But I just thought that was a really cool, it was almost like a passing of a torch moment.
Yeah.
And it was just really beautiful to me.
Yeah. And she was just feeding on the energy. Like it just seemed real. Like, you know.
Well, for her, it was like on top of the world. All these people were cheering for her, right? How many developers get that opportunity, right?
Right. But what was great about that is, like you just said, you know, it's almost like 2 for 2. You're kind of expecting a continuation of something that you already know about, and you got something that you weren't prepared for. So, you know, you got Ghostwire, and like you said, you got Deathloop, where, you know, you were expecting Evil Within, and we had talked on a previous podcast about, you know, a return to Dishonored, which I'm still hoping one day will happen. You know, but they're like, nope, not yet, because we're doing this. And I'm all for it.
Yeah. for sure.
Yeah.
Jared.
Wolfenstein's looking great too.
Oh, Wolfenstein, yeah.
Ooh.
Jared, what's the high point for you? Because I know you, like Eric, aren't necessarily a raving Bethesda fan like myself.
Well, I didn't even really get a chance to watch the conference. I was able to catch up on a couple game trailers afterwards. But honestly, Ghostwire, man, it looks great. I'm excited just because the creativity they have and the history they have with horror and thriller and just, I'm excited. I'm really excited. That's my high point for that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to admit, like, seeing some of the things they've created through the Evil Within series, I'm terrified to play that game.
Oh, I'm so excited. The Evil Within 2 was a great stepping stone forward for how the game progressed and evolved from the first one. Like, they expanded on what worked really well with the game and just kind of doubled down on it, and it panned out so well. It's a really fantastic horror game, and knowing them, they're just going to go all out for this one, so I'm excited.
For sure. Sam, your high point.
Good grief. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing about this. I'm going to make this clear. The Bethesda conference all around was fantastic, in my opinion. I think it was a fantastic show. The fact that, Todd came out and he addressed, hey, we're owning up to the fact that some of you had some harsh criticism for Fallout 76. We're bringing back the classic dialogue trees that haven't been seen since Fallout New Vegas. We're bringing in NPCs. We're bringing the stuff you want. Like, that told me, okay, they're listening. They are listening to what people want, and they're going to shape it as a result of that. And, like Eric said, the Bethesda Softworks love that all their other studios got in the second half there. Deathloop looks fantastic. By the way, I will point out something interesting, something that has never been the case before. Anytime Arcane has made a game before, no matter what it was, they've always said from Arcane Studios. Did you guys notice that they specifically said, hey, this is from Arcane Lyon, the French studio, which leaves me to bring up, what is Arcane Austin up to?
That's a good question.
Just throwing that out there.
Dishonored 3.
Just throwing that out.
Bring it.
I'm just saying it specifically means that Arcane Austin is working on something else, because Arcane Lyon is the studio that helped Wolfenstein with their level design and their storytelling, and they're the ones making the new IP Deathloop. So we'll see. But yeah, no, in terms of, and we have to say that Doom Eternal, guys, come on, Doom Eternal.
Yeah,
that game. I played it. I played about 30 minutes of it. Actually, they were very generous. It is glory incarnate. Like, I told the PR rep who was there, I was like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but the 2016 game is boring now by comparison. They've got platforming. I don't know if you guys read my piece where, like, you can rip into the wall and then jump from wall to wall by just smashing your fist into it. The blade on your arm just functions so well. You can use your flamethrower to make enemies spew up armor to get yourself more armor if you can't find enough of it. It's glory. It is glory. It is glorious. I can't wait. But I have to say, yeah, the best moment of that conference was Ikumi Nakamura and Ghostwire Tokyo. It absolutely was. The way the new IP was revealed, her incredible enthusiasm and energy on the stage, she completely owned it. This E3 belongs to her and Keanu Reeves. Let's be honest. Like, it belongs to the two of them. This was the most wholesome E3 ever. And I think I followed her when I saw her name come up, and after, she was on the stage, I followed her on Twitter. She had like 200 followers. She now has 145,000.
Wow.
That is insane to me. That is absolutely insane. And I'm going to tell a personal story as well. When I met her, you guys saw the picture I sent, the picture I posted on Twitter, but I actually met Shinji Mikami first. I met him. I wasn't able to get a picture with him because he was a little too busy. But I shook his hand. I was talking with him. What a big fan I was. How I loved the Evil Within games, the original Resident Evil as well, Resident Evil 2, and all that. And he was interested. He graced me with his presence and all that. But after that, I started talking about how excited I was for the new IP that they were working on. He literally took my shoulder, pointed me over to Ikumi, and said, "Then you should go talk to her." And I was like, how often do we see that in this industry? How often do
Yeah.
we see a legendary, and he is a legend, a legendary designer, a legendary storyteller in games, arguably the father of horror games in our industry, if we're being honest,
Mm-hmm.
just pass it up and say, nah, you should go talk to her.
Right.
This is her baby. This is her project. It was like that.
That's
really
awesome.
Nick, you mentioned that it felt like a passing of the torch. Yes, it 100% did. This literally felt like him saying, nah, I'm taking a step back. She studied under me. It's her time.
Yeah, it's a massive
And
sign of respect.
that was so awesome to me. That was heartwarming. And as well, talking with the Bethesda rep when I was waiting to play Doom Eternal as well, and she was mentioning how people are now discovering that all the insane, grotesque, twisted stuff in the Evil Within games, like that's literally all Ikumi's work. It all comes from this happy, bubbly Japanese woman. It's like, okay, all right. I don't know what's going on there, but you know what? You rock. You rock, Akumi.
Well, they have that one profile pic of her. She's like in a room, like she's sitting. She has like a shotgun, like over her shoulder almost.
Yes, exactly.
I think she's sketching.
She was so nice when I met her. I talked to her. She barely speaks English, so she had to have a translator between us to like help her understand what I was saying. But she is so bubbly and joyous and happy. Like that's not an act. That's just her personality. Was the vibe I got. And so that whole thing, everything to do with her and their new IP, which I don't understand the lick of, but it looks incredible. Yeah, that whole thing.
I'm just gonna, before we move on to some disappointments, I just want to point out the irony. I went and scrolled through Sam's Twitter feed to find the photo with him and Nakamura. The best part of it is that Sam's wearing a Resident Evil shirt.
I could not have timed that. I could not have timed that.
It's great because there was a friend of mine who I will not name because he told me this in DMs, and he interviewed the creative director behind the original Evil Within, and he got one-on-one interview with the gentleman, and he didn't think about his wardrobe selection before the interview, and he sat down with the director, and the first comment from the director was, "Oh, you like Resident Evil?" And he looked down his shirt, he was wearing a Resident Evil 7 shirt, and he went, shit. But it's really cool. I'm really glad to see. It was good to see some wholesome stuff at Bethesda and not just memes. I'm glad they didn't bring Andrew WK back from whatever hellhole they hauled him out of for Rage 2 last year. No one wants to party hard in 2019.
Yeah. That's that old guard of like E3 stuff, man. It's like we got to bring a celebrity in to relate with the kids.
Yeah, no.
The only celebrity that I ever wanted to see that I didn't even know was Keanu Reeves. It's like you get more than a pass on that one.
Mm-hmm.
No other human being would have gotten that reaction.
We got to quickly move through this. Bethesda, the biggest what the moment during the Bethesda conference for me was Commander Keen. For people that don't know, Commander Keen was a PC game that released on Microsoft DOS in December 14th, 1990. It was one of the first games made by ID Software. And to give you an idea, the creators is Tom Hall, John Carmack, John Romero, and the artist was Adrian Carmack. So the Carmack brothers and Romero made this game. And it's a side-scrolling platformer from 1990 that ran on MS-DOS and was eventually released on Game Boy Color at a later date. Why did that become a mobile game? And why was that an E3 announcement mobile game? I was sitting there going, there's no one that's in that room right now that is old enough to remember Commander Keen. Like, that was the first thing, shout out to Drunk Cat or Al on Twitter, and he said 90% of the gaming community is too young to know who Commander Keen is. I just there was a couple of head-scratching moments with that. As someone who's been very critical of Fallout 76, but also play Fallout 76, which I think separates me from a lot of people that were critical of Fallout 76. I don't want to hear you complaining about it if you didn't play it. Don't make a joke about it. I thought that was really off color and rubbed me the wrong way. This wasn't a joke. People legitimately spent $60 on this game, got a very unfinished, unpolished project. You shouldn't joke about it. Yeah, people that didn't buy the game might have got a little chuckles out of it, but deep down inside, those of us that bought it are like, oh, okay. We're a meme now. It's
I
great
didn't think it was funny, Nick.
Thanks, Eric. But I don't know. I just don't think that should be a joke point. Like it was like the Skyrim jokes, the E3 before. It was like, okay, those are kind of funny because Skyrim's legitimately a decent game. Like it's a great game. Sorry. And like joking about you're putting it on everything and then being like Skyrim for Alexa. That's funny. That was funny.
Mm-hmm.
But the Fallout 76 poke was not funny. Are they doing all the content right and listening to the community that's playing the game? Absolutely. Are they fixing a lot of the issues? Absolutely. But we're not far enough away from where the game was for it to be joke ready yet. And I just think that was a really bad moment of the conference.
I mean, people haven't even gotten all their nylon bags yet.
Oh my God. We're not talking
Or
about
their
bags
canvas bags yet. And he's making jokes.
Yeah, that. Once again, as Al said on Twitter, Fallout 76 weeks later.
God bless Al.
Yeah, God bless Al. It takes the piss out of everybody, and I just enjoy it. Any major low points for you guys besides Eric?
Whoa!
Oh my God.
Okay.
I thought Ivan was at E3 for a moment. Honestly, I was like, "Who let Ivan in?"
Okay, let me tell you something. Let me be very clear about this. You think it was bad over the stream? I was, guys, towards the end, I was legitimately thinking of getting up from my seat and tracking down whoever it was and just beating them up on the camera. Like, it was getting bad. I was like, stop. Just stop. Like, it was funny the first couple of times. It was irritating after that. It rapidly just became obnoxious. I was seriously close to trying to see who it was. Like, good grief. That was obnoxious.
The best meme that came out of that, I'm pretty sure Eric sent it to me. It was like, no one in the history of mankind, no one in the universe, guy at Bethesda conference.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that was something. I understand being excited, but like if you're cheering that hard for the Commander Keen mobile game, yikes!
Fraud alert.
I think you could have passed it off as just a passionate fan for most of it. It was when it happened for the Commander Keen stuff. It was like, wait, hold up.
Like, I don't. It's like that GIF. I don't believe you. All right. We're gonna move to Ubisoft. Ubisoft stuck. There was no Splinter Cell. Yet they had the audacity to put Sam Fisher in a mobile game. The end.
Here's what I'll say. I'll say everything I have to say about Ubisoft just like right now, all in one sentence. I have very mixed emotions because on the one hand, it was the first Ubisoft conference ever that was short and respected our time. It was just about an hour long, and I appreciate that. Thank you, Ubisoft. Thank you for not doing a 3.5-hour show. And they had a dog on stage, which is shameless pandering, but I'm okay with it. Because it completed the wholesome trinity. Keanu the father, Doggo the son, Ikumi Nakamura the Holy Spirit. It was the wholesome trinity of E3. On the other hand, I don't want to hear about an Apple TV show.
Oh my God.
No one cares. No one likes it. No one except Apple employees wants Apple original programming for starters. Now, on top of that, you're going to do, we have a show we're going to do with them. Like, TV? We're flashing back to 2013, huh? We're really going to do this.
Have we not learned?
Crash.
Microsoft had it beat into them in 2013. No, we don't want this. Sony, when they tried that whole Powers original programming show, no, we don't want it. Ubisoft, you're going to learn today. We don't want it. So there was that. And then also, of course, just the how dare you stand where he stood Splinter Cell mobile game. It literally just feels like they're trolling us at this point, those of us who want a Splinter Cell game, and that's obnoxious. It's really not funny. Yeah. So, that's everything about Ubisoft for me. Lots of good stuff. Rainbow Six Quarantine looks great. Like, that'd probably be my highlight. It looks really fun.
I was gonna say, in terms of highlight, I think we're all gonna. I'm gonna say this. I can't believe that the year is 2019, and my most anticipated Ubisoft title, outside of a Ghost Recon game, which is no surprise, is a Watch Dogs game. Because I want to be a granny blasting guys away with a deagle. Like,
I'm gonna have a granny squad or a senior squad rolling around in that city, and we're gonna beat the crap out of them. Yeah, that's right. All old people, 100%.
I haven't really cared a tremendous amount about Watch Dogs. Like, they are what they are. It's like whatever. But I'm like, that thing looks so weird and wild. It's like, way to get people to pay attention. You have people who never cared about the game now.
Same.
It looks good.
I have not played either of them. I have not played Watch Dogs. I have not played Watch Dogs 2. But that looks good.
I played a little bit of the first one, a little bit of the second one, and just never really,
It never grasped me. It was like, if I want to do this, I'll go play GTA or I'll go play something else. It never clicked with me, and that's fine. If you're a fan of them, go. I know a bunch of people who like the first one and love the second one. I hear the second one was great for fans. So, but no, Watch Dogs Legion, like, it looks unique. Like, that is a cool mechanic. Permadeath, and you're recruiting dozens of people, and you can play as each of them. They all have unique voice acting. Like, okay. All right, that looks cool.
Cool.
You've got my attention, Ubisoft.
Yeah, no, I'm going to come out and say this, that the fact that it's 2019, one of my most anticipated games for next year is Watch Dogs, which is weird. And just, I was really impressed because I'm one of these people that's been severely agitated by Ubisoft and the whole apolitical stance. We're not going to get into this too heavy. We don't have the time. But their whole thing of, we're going to be edgy and political. And then they're like, well, actually, it's not a political statement. But,
yeah, it's
like The Division 2 was the most confusing marketing campaign I've ever seen in my life. It was like, we're taking jabs, but they're not really jabs. Mm-hmm. But them to come out and be like, this is what we believe post-Brexit would look like if people don't come together and blah, 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 blah. Having the creative director come out and say that made me go, I'm paying attention now. Because I truly believe they'll actually have a message behind this game. And if they manage to actually put a well-thought-out storyline based around what could happen in a, like, post-Brexit England, I'm interested in it. I'm really interested in it. And the gameplay's looking Ubisoft, but with some twists. And the gunplay looks good. The close quarters combat looks amazing. I will say this till the end of time. Watch Dogs 2 had the best melee weapon ever because having a pool ball on a bungee cord is probably one of the coolest knockout weapons in a video game.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like the gameplay in Watch Dogs 2. It was just one of those things I don't own it. So I played like the demo, like, oh, yeah, if it ever came out at the right price at the right time, I'd probably play through it.
The thing with Watch Dogs 2 is it was trying too hard to be edgy. And it kind of missed the mark. I played it. I finished it. It was good. It's a shorter game. It's about 15, 20 hours if you do some of the side stuff and all the main stuff. But it's a good experience. I wouldn't recommend anyone go play the first Watch Dogs. That's a different story. Right. But I think they did a good job with that. What was that game called? The like Breath of the Wild ripoff at the end.
Gods and Monsters.
That looks interesting. Only because I don't own a platform to play Breath of the Wild on. But I don't know. Ubisoft was okay, Dancing Panda. There was more about Splinter Cell on the Xbox conference when they made all 3 games backwards compatible than when
that was the Splinter Cell moment.
Yeah, the Splinter Cell moment was on Xbox's stage when they're like, hey, you can play all these games backwards compatible. Ubisoft's like, hey, we got a mobile game. And
well, at least somebody cares.
Well, see, I told Eric, me and Eric had this conversation. I'm pretty sure I DM'd you during this conference. I may not have. But I sat there and I went, I respect mobile games. They have a market, and if it can enhance the franchise that I'm invested in by cashing in on mobile gamers, I'm fine with that. But I was incomprehensibly angry about Sam Fisher being in that mobile game. I'm like, you guys literally won't make a Splinter Cell game, but you'll put him in a fucking mobile game.
And see, Nick, that's the thing. You're talking about them like joking at Bethesda. I'm like, you assholes were on Twitter trolling and joking and saying we're drunk, knowing you're going into E3 with this mobile bull crap.
Yeah, exactly. That's the worst part, Eric, is like they knew what was coming. And it's like, guys, okay, I can at least stomach the fact you're not making a Splinter Cell game if you just have the respect to say, hey, we're not making a Splinter Cell game. But this whole thing comes across as you mocking the people who are hardcore fans of that, who want it. It's like, it's not
what you wanted.
I've talked to people who work at Ubisoft and they're like, guys, it was just a joke. I'm like, that's fine. It ain't funny. And we're not going to forget it.
Right. And people are passionate about this franchise. It's not cool to play with the emotions on it.
Yeah, for sure. I won't touch too much on Devolver Digital's. We don't really have the time. Go watch it. That's all I can say. Go watch it.
Yes, I have to go back and watch that one.
It's about 40 minutes. There was a lot of after show stuff, which honestly felt like I ate way too many edibles. And it was just a trip after a while. It went on for 2 hours, Jared? It was like a 2-hour stream afterwards or something. The post. It was like a hallucinogenic mushroom trip near the end. But shout out to Devolver Digital for changing the game, so to speak. We're gonna hop right to Square Enix. And because we kind of have to condense this down, I was not a fan of the Square Enix show. And before everyone crucifies me to a cross, is because as someone who doesn't really I'm going to buy Final Fantasy VII Remake. But as someone who doesn't care about Final Fantasy, the first 3/4 of that show bored the hell out of me. I'm like, how many spin-offs does they have? They're like, oh, Final Fantasy 14, the MMO game, Final Fantasy the Fighter, the Final Fantasy mobile game.
Final Fantasy the Flamethrower.
No.
Final Fantasy underwear.
No, seriously, it was to the point I was waiting for a creative director to come out and be like, we have a Final Fantasy coffee maker. And the Square Enix crowd would just lose it.
It's cool that people like Final Fantasy, but damn, it's a little bit too much sometimes.
Well, I will not say this too often, but when there was actually a tweet from Paul Tassi I agreed with, and it was like, is any of this Final Fantasy stuff just kind of blending together for anyone else? And if you're not a huge fan of the franchise, that show for the first half just blended together, aside from the impressive showing of the Final Fantasy VII Remake, which looks great, but there's so many red flags still. I'm still not 100% signed up. When you ask a creative director, well, you're going for the episodic approach, so how many episodes do you have? We don't know. Pardon? What? And then they're like, well, it's a 2-disc game. I felt like I was transported back to E3s of the 360 and PS3 generation, where bragging about how many discs you had made a difference. It was just like, okay. They're like, and this is only your adventure in Midgard. So I immediately hit up one of my friends that's a huge Final Fantasy nut. I'm like, how long does it take you to get out of Midgard? They're like, I don't know, 6-7 hours, 10 hours if you're trash. I'm like, okay. So we got 2 discs and a full episode dedicated to the first 6 hours of the game. Isn't Final Fantasy VII like a 60-hour game? This is starting to feel like Final Fantasy the cash grab versus Final Fantasy the remake. It's how many episodes can we make, and how long is this going to take? So it took you guys this long to do the first episode. How long are we waiting for the next one? Am I going to have to rebuy this on the next generation console? How's this going to work? You're charging me $70, or sorry, $60 for you guys. You guys are charging me $60 for the first episode, but you're telling me it's a full game's worth of content, but I'm going to be nowhere near the actual end of the story. I don't know. I'll let you guys take over. Maybe I'm just overly bitter, but there's so many red flags. And also, I swear to God, if they release a $400 collector's edition, which, by the way, is not available in Canada, and then they do another collector's edition for the next episode, it's over to me. Square Enix is just cash hauling Final Fantasy VII for everything they have.
Well, we kind of know they're doing that.
Well, we kind of know that because they don't know what to do for 16. Let's be real.
But Nick, the funny thing is like we know that they're doing it, but has it stopped any fan from losing their mind every time a Final Fantasy thing pops up?
No, because like the Square Enix conference was essentially the Bethesda Woo guy, except a whole crowd of them.
Not wrong. Not wrong.
Like me and Jared were talking about it, because me and Jared don't have any attachment to the Final Fantasy series, and it was like it was just like watching it. It was just like, is it really that exciting? Like, you can go buy Final Fantasy VII for $20 on pretty much any platform now. Pretty sure you can even buy it on mobile. Is it really that exciting?
I don't have like the attachment because I wasn't like a turn-based game fan when that game originally came out. Like, I just kind of ignored it for that. I appreciated what it was doing. I appreciated the people who were really into it. I don't get tears in my eyes when I see certain things and this and that, But that being said, Final Fantasy 15, I was a big fan of. Really loved that game. And so seeing this remake, I do want to go back and play the original Final Fantasy 7 because I am now more into turn-based games than I used to be. But looking at what they're doing with that combat and looking at the game itself, I'm excited for it. However, like it falls out, however it lays out, even though I don't have any major nostalgia for any of it, I do like the characters. I like the look. I know Cloud. I've watched, the Final Fantasy Spirits Within, and I've watched Final Fantasy Advent Children. I've watched those movies and stuff like that.
Oh, those movies are so good. So good.
So I have that connection in that regard. But they're definitely doing some interesting things there. And it'll be interesting to see how it kind of shakes out as we get closer to, the overall game plan.
Yeah.
So
I just don't trust Square Enix to hit the ball at any point when it comes to releasing something in a timely fashion.
No, but I think at this point, just the fact that we got gameplay and we got a release date, whether it's going to move, I'm pretty sure it could. But the fact is, we're a lot further along than we thought we were going to be a year ago.
Well, the thing is we're finally getting the final part of the E3 of Dreams in 2020, 5 years later. That's insane to me.
Final parts. Shenmue hasn't come out yet.
Oh, we're not talking about that garbage. I can't believe in a world where Yakuza and Judgment exist, people want to go play that. That blows my mind.
Okay, so guys, I have to interject with a funny story about Shenmue, if you don't mind.
Of course.
PlayStation Bra and Joseph and I, we were all on the couch, right, at the Airbnb. We're watching some Shenmue gameplay. We're doing some work, eating some dinner, eating some snacks, whatever. And they get to the point where the mini games are starting in the Shenmue 3 gameplay, and Bra and I start aggressively betting on the turtle race. He insisted the blue turtle was going to win, but I insisted the green turtle was going to win. And we are like into it, man. We're yelling like, green, go, blue, go. And then Joseph is looking up over his laptop at us like, you two have lost your minds. I am watching two grown men cheer on a turtle race from a pre-recorded video. Green won, by the way. Suck it, brah.
I can't even regain my composure after this. All right. I'll make sure to clip that for Bra.
Shoot, that's great.
At the end of the day, Square Enix, they delivered what their fans wanted, and I think that's the most important part. And I'm not a huge Square Enix fan, but I think they did what they needed to do. They showed the Final Fantasy VII remake. They showed another Final Fantasy remaster. They announced after E3 they're looking to bring every game they've made in some sort of way to a digital platform or a service, which means I could finally see Radiata Stories, which makes me immensely excited because I am emotionally invested in that game. Well, I didn't think it was a terrible show. Cool showing to see, I think it's Outriders from People Can Fly who did Judgment and...
Yeah, that looked interesting.
My biggest thing is they're like the people behind Gears of War Judgment. I'm like, you may not want to brag about that in front of too many Gears fans. But
yeah, whatever. It's like lead with
Bulletstorm.
Yeah, lead with Bulletstorm. Don't lead with
like,
Judgment.
we made critically the worst Gears game Oh, okay. That killed my hype, but it looks interesting. Once again, another 3-player co-op, which makes me go, what is 3 the magic number? Does no one have a 4th anymore? Like, okay.
I think it's a bunch of developers got tired of hearing about how everyone can always get 2 of their friends together, but a third always has a scheduling conflict. I mean, after all, guys, it's not like we would know anything about that for our podcast, right?
Okay. Touche. Same. Touche. And we don't have time to touch on Nintendo, unfortunately. Luigi's Mansion 3, the GOAT, the show. I don't care what anyone says.
Day one by.
I sat there, I don't need a Switch. Like, I legitimately was talking about Jared. I'm like, there's nothing they can show here. They'll make me buy a Switch. Literally, the moment Guigi popped out, I'm like, shit. Sit there like scrolling through Amazon going, can I find a used one? Like, are they good price here? But no, Luigi's Mansion 3 looks great. Breath of the Wild
sequel. Yep, I was gonna say happy that got
Breath
announced.
of the Wild sequel. Nintendo had a really solid show. I wish we had time to like really kind of go over it more, but I thought you had Tick Podcast.
Dude, I'm eating dinner after we're recording this. I'm exhausted. Yeah, I've already hit Cal up.
Okay, perfect. So there was a wealth of things from Nintendo. Dark Crystal, for those that are a fan of it, an XCOM Crystal game. I know Jared's actually pretty hyped for that.
It's great.
By the way, Dark Crystal may go down as one of the darkest kids-aimed movies of all time. I'm pretty sure you'd go to jail if you show that to a kid these days.
Man, I don't even know.
Dude, it's still terrifying for adults.
It is. It's creepy, man. Like, the way they do that movie, the puppetry and what they do, it's like, it's unsettling. It really is. And the mannerisms of the creatures, like the I forget what they're called, but man, it's just creepy.
Yeah, it's pretty creepy. Link's Awakening is really tugging at my nostalgia strings, but that $60 price tag is really tugging at my keeping my wallet closed strings.
Man, I don't care. I'm getting that.
That game will totally worth $60.
And Tunic, both of those 2 games right there. Those are my throwback games to the classic Zelda.
Where is it?
Ones. I don't know. I'm so sad. I was so upset.
The developer didn't even have an update on when it could be coming, so we might not see that game anytime
soon. For those
soon.
that are interested, they have an open PR email. I actually sent them an email requesting updated information. Might get something back, never know.
Right.
But I'm really curious about where that game's at, because I have no interest in like Breath of the Wild per se. That kind of Zelda game really doesn't pull me in. But those old school ones from like the Game Boy and things like that, those are the ones that I grew up on.
Mm-hmm.
And I love those games. And I'm sitting there looking at Link's Awakening and Luigi's Mansion 3 with like sweat going down my brow going, I don't need a Switch. 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 and like, I'm magically like punching in my Amazon password. Like, I don't need a Switch. I don't need a Switch. Oh, it's ordered. Crap.
Oh, my finger slipped. Oh, man.
But I thought Nintendo had the most stellar showing in terms of everything. Between, by the way, the worst social media hashtag I've ever had to put up with, Switcher.
Switcher 3.
No.
They called us madmen for believing it could happen.
In all seriousness, though, shout out to CD Projekt Red somehow fitting that entire game and all its expansions on a cartridge. Like, what? And still making the game look serviceable. I'm looking at you, Ark Survival Evolved. Looking at you.
Shots fired.
Damn. Yeah, it's not like the developers listen to player feedback anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I gotta ask, Sam, Eric, you buying The Witcher 3 on Switch?
No, I'm not. I wouldn't be playing through The Witcher 3 on my Switch. I mean, because that game is too big for me to say portable. I'm never gonna go anywhere that long. We're gonna like,
Oh, it's such a massive game. It's one you want to be at home
yeah,
and invest your time in, because if you go and have you're trying to play it portable, are you gonna actually have time to even do like an eighth of a side quest? No,
no.
no. You
So I
want to sit
mean,
down and do it from start to finish. Right?
exactly, bro. So no, if Switch was like my only console, then yeah, I would. But I was looking at the edition of it, and as a fan, I was like, would I collect that just to have it as a Witcher fan? I don't know, maybe if it was a steelbook thing, definitely. But it's not that, so I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I can understand that. If there was something more collectible to it, I know you and Sam would kind of be there day one.
Yeah.
Also,
You didn't even ask me.
I don't have to ask you. You are my CD Projekt Red shill. In the defense, though, I don't think you're a shill. I put that out there prematurely. I'm pretty sure if CD Projekt Red could make a bad game, which they don't seem to be able to, Sam would be very critical of them. I just don't think that time's coming anytime soon.
They just ain't. They're just not going to.
Yeah. The one thing that really annoyed me, and once again, I want to tweet about this, but since I don't own a Switch, I always talk about feeling like I can't talk about Nintendo Switch stuff because I don't own one, and it comes across as disingenuous. Them doing that banging Link's Awakening Collector's Edition and making it Europe only,
dude,
when Europe is the
hurt.
least selling market for the Nintendo Switch.
they do this all the time, bro.
No, what's annoying me is I went back, and 4 months ago they said they were going to stop doing regional locked collector's editions.
Well, someone lied.
Well, surprise.
Because Astral Chain, same thing.
Yep. And
Astral Chain looks good too, by the way.
Yeah, if I like Platinum Games, that would be up there.
Careful there. Careful, Nick.
It's just not my style of game. I should throw that out there. They're not bad games. They're just not my kind of games. No, Sam's repeatedly going, play Witcher 3, play Nier Automata. And I'm just like, I don't got time, man. And he's like, play it. But no, it's...
I bet you Nier comes to Switch soon.
Yeah, that'd be some good money in the bank for Platinum. For sure.
It sold really well when it came to Xbox, so it makes sense.
Yeah, and at this point, if The Witcher 3 can go on Switch, we might as well just start predicting what's next. Because, like, at this point, it's kind of come to the conclusion that if the developer's talented enough, it can work on Switch.
Well, Bethesda keeps working magic with them.
Yes. I'm going to screw up the developer name. I think it's Panic Button is the company that's been handling Bethesda's Switch ports. I think. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure they did the Wolfenstein port and they did the... what's the other port? They had Wolfenstein and Doom ports were done by Panic Button, I believe. And they were serviceable ports. I hear they had some frame pacing issues, but apparently that's understandable. Yeah, Switch is on fire, man. And with all these games they've got, like... Yeah, Nintendo's set for this year. I think Switch has NPD on lock for the next year and a half. Easily.
I think Xbox stands a chance when Gears releases, and Sony stands a chance, PlayStation rather, when Death Stranding releases. Otherwise, yeah, I agree.
The only reason I say that there's a chance that it might not, it depends if Luigi's Mansion falls in September, then Xbox won't win one, and if Luigi's Mansion drops the same month as Death Stranding, PlayStation's not going to win one. Gears is a system seller to an extent. I don't think Death Stranding is. I think it's going to sell well, but I don't think it's going to move systems.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say... Unless it just becomes some major word of mouth thing, then it might move a few more, but it's definitely going to be in install base.
Watch them announce a limited edition console, Death Stranding console. Just throwing that out there.
If they do that, there's some serious... You're just around the corner from announcing next generation console, and you're gonna like if they do a Death Stranding PS4 Pro, I'm gonna be like, who is this for?
Collectors.
Yeah, that's about it. Scalpers, as we learned from Xbox Fan Fest. That's what it's for. Scalping.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time they put out a console like that, right? Like their anniversary edition one and their 500 or their 100 million one or whatever.
Yeah, but the thing is those were further back a bit. I think when you've already talked about PS5, I start getting antsy about special edition consoles when the new ones are just around the corner.
Right.
But like, if they want to do a console for Death Stranding, that's cool. And to wrap up in part, and since we're talking about special editions, the fact that they're relaunching the Xbox Elite V2 and there isn't a Gears version blows my mind at that missed opportunity. I know it's coming out in November, so it's past the Gears 5 quote-unquote hype season. But damn, do some tie-in controllers or something. They made like the original Xbox, like the OG Xbox One was kind of an ugly system. Xbox One X is a slim, nice box. You could really do some cool custom stuff with it. And so far we got like a gold paint job for Battlefield 5. And some really awesome one-off editions that you could win if you win off a retweet. I don't know. You guys been happy with the custom consoles this generation? I find them completely lackluster comparatively to last gen.
There have been a couple of standouts, but for the most part, yeah. The real standout, I would say, was the Gears 4 Xbox One S. That was good.
That was good. That was pretty much the one that they went all out on. That was about it.
That was hot. Yeah. Other than that, I can't think of one from Microsoft or Sony that was like awesome. Honestly.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. The Spider-Man one and the God of War.
No, I like the Spider-Man one.
I'm
the
not
God
a
of War one. It took. I didn't even realize that it was supposed to be the axe. When I first saw it, I was like, "What is that?" The Spider-Man one.
It looks too much like a sci-fi diagram. Honestly.
Yeah.
As a Spider-Man fan, yeah, I'd be down with that. But it's because I'm a Spider-Man fan. What is it? Is it a super amazing one? No, it's red with the sticker on it, but it's cool, for that regard. But yeah, I don't think there's been any major, not like the Xbox 360 R2D2.
Oh yeah, last gen was prime for traditional consoles.
Yeah,
I remember. It's so weird because I remember the Modern Warfare 2 or 3 custom Xbox. I had the R2D2 console, which makes me so sad. I saw someone sell one on eBay the other day with the box for like $1,700. And I'm like, I had that. It broke, though. It broke. The R2D2 one, I had the God of War Ascension? I think there was a bundle. There was like a red PS3 that came out. I remember buying that. I can't remember. It wasn't really a great console, though. The custom PS3s weren't really a thing. The only notable collector's edition console that Sony really banged out of the park, which was such a shame that was so limited, was the Monster Hunter PS4, which was so limited. I don't know anyone that got one. Did you guys know anyone that got one?
Mm-mm.
Which one?
The Monster Hunter World custom PS4.
No. That thing, talk about scalpers. I think that one.
Yeah, that one and
the Kingdom Hearts one.
Yeah, those ones got scalped into oblivion, and it's sad. But yeah, I guess that kind of wraps up everything. Nintendo, if you're listening, Luigi's Mansion 3 Switch bundle with custom Luigi on the back of the Switch. You pull it up and it's him looking scared. Make it.
Yep.
Or give me a Guigi amiibo, because Guigi is life.
They had when Club Nintendo was still the thing, and they were doing physical items. There was a Luigi's Mansion figure that they had, and it sold out quickly, with the points. I missed it.
Let me tell you, to end this podcast on an absolutely promising note, Luigi over Mario every day.
Yep.
Every day. Less games.
To me, they crap on him.
Yeah.
But he's cooler than to me. To me, he's cooler than Mario. But they always they treat him like second fiddle most of the time.
And he's had some great games too.
Mhm.
Also, Metroid Prime trilogy. Hey, how about that awesome trailer that was gonna come out that every insider said was gonna be there?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, baloney.
At least we know they're looking for an art director for the fourth one now. Things are moving along
I
nicely.
hope everyone is looking forward to Metroid Prime 4 in 2023.
I really hope people are looking forward to Metroid Prime 4 on the next generation Nintendo console.
I am. Thank you very much for asking.
They just need to bring in ID Software and make Metroid Prime a first-person
Oh, don't do
Metroid
that, man.
Prime is a first-person shooter, buddy.
I don't know. I don't play it. I don't play
Excuse me?
Nintendo stuff.
Excuse me?
Buddy,
Yeah,
oh my God! Someone clipped it, please, for the love of God. When this goes live, someone needs to clip this.
Okay, hold on here. What's worse, having 3 achievements in Red Redemption or not playing the Metroid Prime games?
I'm
Sir,
glad you
did-
brought that up, Jared. I'm glad
Yeah,
you brought it.
We almost didn't touch on this.
I
This
know
man-
this is. I know probably open a can of worms here, but come on, I gotta throw that out there.
No. See, you need, I respect people that quit playing Red Dead Redemption at Mexico because the story kind of dragged there. You didn't even make it to Mexico, bro. You didn't even make it to the bridge to Mexico.
You didn't experience that amazing moment. You didn't get to see the ranch. You
I
didn't
don't
see.
even-
Oh my God!
I don't even remember where I stopped, but I know I played quite a good amount. I don't know why I only have 3 achievements.
Baloney. Baloney, I say.
I was
All right.
trying so hard to find my time playing that game, but I can't. It's bugging the crap out of me.
Don't worry, Jared. We'll have a special episode to roast you on that, and then you guys can roast me for all the games I don't play.
At least I played the original Metroid Prime games when they first launched, and bought the Metroid Prime trilogy on GameCube and played through all those games. Oh,
What
and
console
then played
did
it
the
again
first one
on
launch
Wii.
on?
Oh, it was great. It was great on Wii.
That's why I don't
trilogy.
remember it.
And
Okay.
apparently,
It was on GameCube and Wii, but I just played it on both platforms multiple times.
See, when I had a GameCube, I had to Blockbuster games, and they never had Metroid at my Blockbuster. So that's probably why I never played it.
But dude, honestly, you really should play them because they are truly fantastic puzzle platformer action adventure games. They're really, really top-notch ones.
Actually, I still have a GameCube. Hold on.
Get your butt going, bruh.
Metroid Prime GameCube. How much is this going to cost me?
Dollars.
Oh, Metroid Prime for GameCube via GameStop for $9.99.
Oh, not
What?
dollars.
How the hell is Oh, sorry, I can get it for $7.99. Huh. Cool. Okay, that might be a thing then.
It's wicked. You should definitely play it, man. You have to. As a FPS kind of game, it's fantastic.
All right, cool. I have a new mission in life. Jared's next mission is to get to Mexico.
Oh, man.
You ain't living that.
Challenge accepted.
I was like, you guys roast me for Red Dead Redemption 2, and this day you didn't even finish the game.
Hey. I at least finished Red Dead Redemption 2.
I can't believe you finished Red Dead Redemption 2 and don't get the emotional payoff for John Marsden's whole player arc then.
But I understood it because I talked to Sam about it and I completely understood exactly what they were doing. I knew what they were doing. I was impressed as hell.
All right, I'll let it slide. I'll let it slide this time, only because I've been playing 2K for 2 weeks and my brain's mush.
Everybody gets one.
Everybody gets one. I've got like 6, so it's fine. So we'll wrap up the podcast here. We'll do outros. Sam, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Samuel Tolbert. That's TOLBERT. And you can find everything I write on TechGamesNetwork.com. I'm in the middle of putting out a ton of E3 previews and stuff. I've got 2 massive interviews coming. People are going to be really interested in both of those, so please come check it out. Stay tuned over the next couple of days.
Right on. Jared?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at RageVirus_X or over as well at TechGamesNetwork.com.
Eric?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at ECJackson with an X, and on Wednesday nights on Brat Podcast.
Right on. And I'm Nicholas Downey from the Encircle Games Network. You can find anything I write or do at www.tickgamesnetwork.com. As an update to you guys, as always, if you enjoy our content, you can support us on Patreon at www.patreon.com/gamingperspective. We appreciate all people that support us over there or on free feeds or downloads. We really appreciate your support. I appreciate all the people that are checking in on the status of the podcast. We are back. We will be consistent. And episodes will be going live Monday morning at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every week. I'm getting into the habit of getting things ready and prepped to go. So this episode you will be getting in your feeds on Monday morning. So you can use us to get to through your commute of work or whatever you choose to listen that way. There will be also more details about the schedule for PlayStation Perspective as well. I'll be announcing that on Twitter later this week. Maybe actually, by the time this goes live, it should already be announced. So if you don't follow me already, you can find me on Twitter at Undead3XVI, and you can stay up to date on all the stuff related to this channel. We've got some cool previews of gameplay that Sam's been working on, and I'm going to be editing together to put on the channel. And I've got some opinion-based stuff that's going to be coming in the next couple days, so stay tuned for that. Appreciate all of you that stop by and spend your time with us, and be sure to check out the timestamps in the description if you want to hear us talk about something specific. And don't forget, if you have any questions, to hit me up on Twitter or to leave them in the comment section below. And we appreciate you guys as always, so please enjoy your Monday morning and try to stay safe.